decided to what do you call it, Scraby?
It's called an update, Chris.
Updates, yes. When I sat down at the
update,
it's called an update. Thank you. When I sat down at the computer, it said it was 88% done doing updates. So I'm chasing behind there.
For as much as you give me for making mistakes, you have as many excuses
How is that
as
a
I do.
mistake? But there's a difference. That's not a mistake. I sat down. Braden signed off by to me, which is his way of getting. He has to leave the studio and sign off, and the computer did an update. That's not a. How can you blame somebody for
he
that?
kind of has to see. Yeah, well, I guess you guys both are in the same spot. You guys share the space that you're in.
Yeah,
so.
we're in the same computer. Anyway, I'm here now. So,
welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Oh, everybody, we can move on with the show.
As a matter of fact, that's true. We can.
That's true.
So I'm glad you stated the obvious. Nice game last night.
Nice game last night.
Another fantastic game.
Unbelievable.
Speaking of
Unbelievable.
performances,
Yes.
that was kind of the lead into our show. Padres have been full of good performances. Yesterday, game one between of the 3-game set between the Padres and the Cubs, I thought was almost polar opposite of what happened, at least in the 3-game series in Chicago, where the Padres, didn't make a play here or, should have made a play there and didn't. The Cubs capitalized on it. 2 out of 3 games they capitalized on. Really, all 3 games they capitalized, and the only difference was the last game the Cubs made as many mistakes or gave as many opportunities as the Padres, and the Padres took advantage. Yesterday, same thing. Happ doesn't get to that ball that for some reason he didn't get to. That inning snowballed from that point on, and the Padres they showed you early they could, as Jesse said during the broadcast, they paper cutted them to death early, and then they showed off the power stroke there late in that ball game. And there's just a variety of ways this team can beat you. That was just I thought that was on display in last night's game, Chris.
I think the most obvious thing you said is that if you give the Padres a little opening, a crack, they're gonna take full advantage of it. And you're right, that play where the ball dropped in front of Ian Happ. I mean, all I could think of was your son Trey the third out there shagging fly balls before the game. I think he catches that one. So that was just a mistake, miscommunication, whatever you want to call it. But the Padres are at a point right now, Tony, where you can't afford to do that against the Padres. And the Cubs were in complete control of the game until that moment. It was 3-1. And, Tyon was cruising along there nicely, got a couple run lead. Now it's tied up. And I thought the key play in the 7th inning was another play that wasn't made, Tony. I'm not picking on Michael Busch, but I think a better first baseman than him gets to that hard ground ball by Arise down the line.
One that he couldn't hold.
Well, there was one he couldn't hold. This was different because they showed a very close replay in the 7th inning. I think Fernando was on first. Busch is holding him on. Yeah. He took a couple steps off the bag when the pitch was made, and then leaned to his left. And he reached for it. He didn't quite get there. I think, he's a right-handed first baseman, so that was on the glove side. To me, that's a play a championship team makes. He didn't make it, and that's okay. It's a clear double. And the Padres, again, took advantage, rolled up a 3-run inning. And then, like you said, Fernando and Arise brought out the big boppers to finish the game off. It's just fantastic. I mean, this is a game you normally lose. You're down, you're not getting much going. The other team's got the lead on you. They knocked out your pitcher, and Padres refuse to be denied right now. So it's great.
Yeah, they're doing. I mean, you go up and down the lineup. I mean, Tatis, he was 2 for 4 with a walk. You had Luis 3 for 5. You had Manny 1 for 3, 2 walks, scored 3 times.
Yeah.
You had Gavin Sheets 2 for 5 or 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs.
That was a big blow too, right there. That 2-run single, big blow.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Xander 1 for 4. Xander did not go 1 for. He had 2 walks.
Yeah, he's on base. He's on base. Yeah.
Iglesias had an RBI and a knock. Hayward had an RBI and a knock.
That was
Tyler
a
big
hit
hit
by Hayward too. Big hit by Hayward, who had
big hit.
Bases loaded there, ties it up. Good job.
The bottom part. I mean, even the pinch. Who came in that? Diaz gets to walk late in that game. I mean, everybody did something yesterday.
And that was,
I think that was maybe the first game where, like, I mean, the Padres had a bunch of success. They've had 10 hits in 10 of 15 games now, or 10 of 16 games now.
Oh, wow.
This was the first game where it was like a complete 1 through 9 kind of deal, I thought.
I loved it. A couple of things beyond that stuck out to me, Tony. I know the Cubs fancy themselves as a, contender, and that's fine, but their bullpen, not only last night, you look at the statistically, their bullpen is in the 5.2 something category. That's not going to work. And Craig Counsell is going to look like he doesn't know what he's doing a lot because he's going to keep bringing guys in that, can't hold on to a lead. Their pitcher leaves with a 3-1 lead and 1 man on base, and you end up with 9 more runs scoring. Padres obviously don't have that problem, although somebody's got to check with Jason Adam today. What is wrong with this guy, Tony? He gave up a run. How dare he do this? The Padre
gave him 2 hits. Oh my gosh!
Yes, the Padre balloon ERA in the bullpen has now ballooned to 1.57 because of that. That slip up there by Jason Adam. But yeah, it's incredible. I thought Dylan Cease fought through it a little bit, but better than previous performances. I think a step in the right direction. And you look at Toddy right now. I mean, it's kind of obvious to talk about how MVP type he is right now. 361 and the OPS is right around 1100. But here's the thing, Tony: 6 home runs, 6 steals. Forget Shohei Ohtani. Fernando's on pace for 60-60, and I think that's way too much pressure to put on him. I'll settle for 50-50.
He is he's healthy. That's the thing. That's the thing that just pops out immediately. I mean, mere fact that he's already talking about World Baseball Classics. If that means in his mind,
right,
he feels good. He wouldn't be having that kind of conversation if he wasn't feeling good right now. And so I think we've all kind of anticipated when he's healthy, this is the type of season. I think this is the kind of start that you envision when you start thinking of Toddy having an MVP like season, right? I mean, this is as good as it gets defensively, offensively, base running,
right?
Whatever it is, smart IQ plays. He's kind of done a little bit of everything here in the first 3 weeks of the season.
And if you don't mind, everybody, and we don't right now because the team is 13-3 or 14-3. My goodness,
yeah, don't shortchange him.
I know it's hard to keep up. But Fernando's doing it with a little flair, too. He comes in from third base with the tying run, high-stepping Deion Sandersing his way into the home plate.
This is the best version of
home yesterday, dude.
Yeah, I mean, this is, he's having a good time, man. That's when he plays his best, right? When he's having fun out there.
Can you, I mean, and this sometimes we say these type of things, but it's honestly hard to remember him looking like he's having this much fun since that breakout. What was that, 2020, when he was going nuts almost every other day, it felt like.
Wow.
But it's different though, right? You bring up the flair. To me, this is a much more toned down Fernando than it was in 2020. I mean, and maybe that's because we don't have a big old chain flopping around there down in the dugout like we did there in 2020. But this is to me, this is a more mature version of Toddy when he was at his best.
I mean, he's 26 now.
Yeah, I mean, little age brings some wisdom to you, right?
You're telling me, Tony.
Never hurts. Yeah. Well, what happened to you? Where's the wisdom that comes along with
my wisdom didn't start until the age of 33.
I haven't seen any of that wisdom work for you.
I wasted, most of the time.
But I called for this at the beginning of the year, and I'm not taking this is not credit at all. All I said was I think Fernando. I would like to see him just tidy it up a little bit, be just a bit more mature. I want him to have the fun. I want him to have the flair, but I want to look like he's 26 now. And I think we're seeing a professional version of a guy that's having a great time. And this is an unstoppable combination at the moment.
That's a great call. I think that we are seeing that. And I think the way this team is built, it allows for him to kind of just fall into that, and I know that has been something that Mike Shildt has won it as he's gotten, as we gotten into year 2 of Mike Shildt's term, right? I think this is kind of what the expectation that he brings to these guys. And Todd, he kind of mentioned it. He has those guys in the right mindset right now, and it's producing some of the best baseball we've seen this ball club play. And that's including what we saw for a half a season last year. So,
yeah, I think we'd be hard pressed. Sorry, Tony, but I think we'd be hard pressed to go back and, Padre history, find too many stretches where they went 14-3. Not just at the beginning. I'm talking about at any time during the year. This is a really special run they're on. And, let's just, like we said yesterday, grab hold and just hang on for the ride right now.
Indeed. Let's get to break. Padres are undefeated here at home. There is a record somewhat in range at this point. They can't get to it during this homestand. So let's have a discussion on the other side about what that could mean and if it's something feasible as we move forward. More Gwynn and Chris on the other side.
Hey, it's Ben Higgins here to talk about a scary word, probate. That's what happens when you pass away without leaving a plan and the state decides how to handle your assets, tying everything up for months or longer.
right, let me be the first to wish everybody happy Jackie Robinson Day out there. April 15th used to be known only for negativity. Did you guys get your taxes filed yet? Just want to make sure everybody's legit.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with Tony, unfortunately.
We got a rather big bill this year as well. My wife has been deep down in the dumps. I keep trying to explain to her that the more money you pay means the more money you made. She doesn't see it that way.
No.
And I cannot convince her of it no matter what I try.
I don't either. Seems like it all goes to the same place, Chris.
Well, April 15th, everybody hang tough and enjoy Jackie Robinson Day. Tonight, I can make a prediction that every single player in the game will wear the number 42, as it should be for Jackie Robinson Day, the great Brooklyn Dodger who broke the color barrier on this day in 1941, 84 years ago. Incredible. 84 years ago. And we thank goodness we've made strides in those 84 years. I think we have a few more to make, but we're getting there. Padres host the Cubs tonight. It'll be Randy Vasquez on the mound against Shota Imanaga, who I think is one of the best pitchers in the league, and presents a good challenge. He's left-handed. He beat the Padres earlier this year in Chicago. Do we have a lineup yet, Scrape? It's a little early.
No.
Not that I've seen.
We'll see if Connor Joe makes his season debut tonight. We'll see who's in center field tonight. Tyler Wade was there last night. Will he be there against a left-handed pitcher? I did see that Connor Joe played a little center field in El Paso, filling in for the injured Forrest Wall. So center field could be an interesting designation.
Wait, say that one more time?
Connor Joe at El Paso played a little center field.
Filling
filling in for injured Forrest Wall.
I heard it as he's back in El Paso.
No.
And I was like, man, that would have been real hard.
Yeah, that would
would
have been
Connor
tough.
Joe.
That wouldn't have been good. Padres did win last night, as you know, 10-4. Biggest surprise was the fact that they gave up 4 runs. I mean, the Padres at home have been absolutely insane this year. Even with the 4 runs they gave up last night, Tony, team ERA at home 1.27. That's like not supposed to happen, even 11 games into it. But that's what happens when you're 11-0 and you pitch 6 shutouts, I guess.
They got a good pitching staff, man. They got a good pitching staff.
Really good. Yeah.
And I think that yesterday, as you said, was probably their worst performance in terms of how they pitched. I mean, that at home, at least. They've been dominant here. And, I think yesterday really was indicative of, especially the early point, was 2 good teams not giving in, or nobody. It was pretty flawless other than the 2 mistakes that were made, right?
Home run Tatis and home run Bush.
Right.
Yeah.
Outside that, it was good baseball. It was just, and then all of a sudden, one play not made, and it turned the other way at that point. Padres never looked back from that point. And I think what happens is when you get 2 good teams and they play 9 innings of that, you get like a 2-1 ball game. You get like a 3-2 ball game. You get a 1-0. Like, it was headed in that direction until, a play wasn't made, and then it just snowballed on the Cubs from there.
And we talk about, plays not made. You and I, especially, I think we focus on that a lot because I think it decides a lot of baseball games.
And by the way, that doesn't mean error. That just means a play that you should get an out on. You don't.
Right. That ball fell in, was a hit. There was no error charged on that play at all, but it did open things up. But what I was going to allude to, Tony, is that the Padres are playing so well right now that I feel like the Cubs and every other team that's playing them has to feel almost like they can't make an error. And that squeezes things a little bit for other teams. I mean, I don't know that you can afford to play free and easy when you know that one mistake may cost you 4 runs.
It reminds me a little bit. Padres play in a similar way. Probably more pop than the Angels when they were in that early 2000s, where I remember going into Anaheim and you knew as an outfielder, if you made even the slightest hiccup, picking up a base hit grounder, it was going to turn into an extra 90 feet. Like every time. And the amount of pressure that puts on your team, knowing, all right, man, we got to be clean. Like, we can't afford a boot. I mean, even if it's one of those boots where it like comes right back to your hand, like that's going to cost you. So yeah, I just think that's where they are. And specifically at home, I mentioned before we went to break, this team is closing in on, or on a record in terms of home. They got a little ways to go in terms of best home record to start the season. They won't be able, as I said, they won't be able to do it this homestand, but they're gonna have a chance next homestand if they can continue if they win out the rest of this homestand. Basically.
Yeah, you like their chances, Tony. They're 11-0 at home. The record is 14-0. I believe it's Tampa Bay that holds it. And as you said, the Padres could get to 12 tonight. We shouldn't look ahead, but we'll do it anyway. 12 tonight. They could get to 13 tomorrow afternoon.
Our producers wants us to look ahead, so let's look.
Okay,
ahead.
So thank you, Scraby.
What?
He would encourage this for sure.
What's happening?
He wasn't paying any attention, so just keep going.
Yes. Here's the interesting thing: if they were to have a chance to tie the record, it would be.
Oh, thanks, guys, for paying it off. I know how annoyed Chris is right now. I
love when I'm in the middle of making a point and you just interject something to screw up my momentum.
I'm sorry.
Very good. If they are to tie the record, the 14th game would be against, of all teams, Tampa Bay, the team that actually holds the record now. So that will come full circle April 25th, if we get that far.
Mind you, that season didn't end well for them.
The Tampa Bay season, the way they started with 14?
Yeah.
Shane McClanahan.
I think they found their way in late, and it didn't end up going the way it started.
I think Wander Franco was a part of that year.
Well, the one thing that we like is that the 13-3 starts coincide, and this is 14-3 now, but those starts coincide with 84 and 98. So those are good signs.
Yes. Moving
forward. But you're absolutely, we're all right. I mean, there's way too far to go, unfortunately, to assume that this means they're going to do this, forever and ever, but boy, it would be really not. I think tonight's a big challenge. They lost Imanaga the first time.
I think these next two are
Boyd
challenge.
I think Boyd beat two lefties. Boyd beat them last time also in Chicago. So, yeah, I agree. Those would be two tough games. Vasquez tonight, Tony. I mean, scouting report for him. Get the ball over the plate, and I'll tell you that's not easy. It's easier said than done against the Cubs because I was impressed with the Cubs in Chicago, at least. They do a great job taking close pitches, which is something the Padres are good at as well.
Right.
But Vasquez is going to have to be on point tonight because if he's off just a little bit, they'll take their walks and he'll get into trouble the same way he did the first time at Wrigley Field. So that's a key tonight.
Yeah, no doubt. He's got to be the version of himself that we saw his last outing, where he was pretty clean for the most part. So, this Cubs offense is good, man. They scored the most runs. They averaged the most runs in this league. And so I just think regardless, their soft underbelly may be their bullpen, but their rotation's pretty good. Their offense is really good. And so he's going to have to come with it. The Cubs are not going to just roll over. I could tell you that.
I wish they would. I mean, why not?
They are Cubs.
It's early in the season. Take a break, Cubs. All right. Game comes up after Sam Levitt's pregame show at 5:40. We should tell you that in honor of Jackie Robinson Day today, we are going to be shedding a light on our Jackie Robinson Family YMCA here in town, which has done so many incredible things for youngsters throughout our county. And their CEO, Todd Tibbitz, is going to be on with us here in just a little bit. And I think it's important we take a little time to talk about this kind of stuff. So that'll be coming up soon on the 3:00 hour. Of course, today is Fantabulous Sports Game Show Day. So stick around for that and all the rest of our good stuff. Tonight, the NBA playoffs, I guess, I don't know, do they begin or not, Tony?
They do.
These are the play-in games whose statistics don't matter, right?
Yeah, technically it's not a playoff game.
Right.
Yeah.
If somebody scores 80 points tonight, like individual, Steph Curry goes for 80 points, it doesn't go on his record.
Okay,
Like,
well,
that
it's a
is so-
Tuesday, so should I expect the next game's on a Friday?
No, we're past the NBA. Don't
No, we're not into that anymore.
You know where I'm trying
Don't
to go
do
with
that.
that.
Don't do
The
that. I see what you're
in-season
doing.
tournament schedule.
Yes, we're
In-season
not
tournament's
doing that.
long gone, buddy.
Yeah, we're not doing that. But this is the play-in tournament. Tonight, the Warriors play Memphis, and in the East, it's Atlanta, Orlando. The two winners will move into the main portion of the playoff draw. But I just think it's absurd that the actual statistics from this game and any of the three games played this week don't matter. Like, that's weird to me. Just put it in the playoffs. But they, for some reason, want to make it seem like the Warriors and Memphis are not in the playoffs, even though they're playing a playoff game.
So where did these stats go? They just
Nowhere.
They're in purgatory.
Yes.
They're in the cloud.
Yeah, they go.
They're just
absolutely
there,
nowhere.
but they don't mean anything.
They mean absolutely nothing.
They're worth more than preseason stats, but not enough.
That's right. They're in between preseason and regular season games in kind of this fake world of numbers.
No one make a movie about that. That would be
It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is what it is. And so, anyway, they'll get underway tonight. Your Lakers play Minnesota on Saturday, Tony. I definitely got to get a thought or two from you on that series. But we'll take a break first, come back, more Gwynn and Chris on a Jackie Robinson celebration day. Padres Cubs tonight at the stadium, Petco Park, 97.3 The Fan.
Gwynn and Chris on the Fan.
Do you know how many times in a
There's Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You've hit some.
We are just leaving 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off a birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after.
It was a 5-footer.
After our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green and then chipped it within 5 feet.
Uh-oh.
Gravy, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course. And we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him, but we all had a good time. There's Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So Chris says that he can't play golf, but this is the second birdie putt he's made for us. This time it was like 20 feet.
Thank you very much, Greg. But once again, you're hitting some very nice shots as well. I'm not usually complimentary to you, but I can't help but be complimentary. Your your shot making today.
With my what?
Your shot making. You hit some.
So we are leaving 10 now, and it's getting really windy. It's actually kind of cold. I'm not gonna lie, I know we're in San Diego, but we're 3 under as a group. We just got off the birdie, and I just hit my defense. There's a squirrel. He wants to attack me. Squirrely! Ah. We just got our second birdie of the day thanks to this guy.
Yeah, a 4-footer after
It was a 5-footer.
after our pro drove it 300 to the front of the green and then chipped it within 5 feet.
Uh-oh.
Gravy, don't feed the animals.
Don't feed the animals. I do feed animals, but Chris made a birdie putt. Leaving the golf course, and we ended up shooting 63 once everything was accounted for, since it was a scramble, and we had an SDSU golf player, Jack Townsend. He was with us, and he did a lot for us. I think we shot 63 because of him, but we all had a good time. There's a Roadrunner. Meet me. He doesn't like me. I guess I wouldn't like me either if I was chasing me. As you can see, I'm all Aztec'd out here at the Aztec Baseball Tournament. It's the SDSU Baseball Alumni Tournament. Right now, we are 1 under in the scramble. And Chris is playing well, Tony's playing well. But our ringer, Jack Townsend, is playing really well. So.
.233 on the clock. Tony Gwynn Jr., Chris April, Matt Gravy. It's Jackie Robinson Day. Everybody will be in the special number of 42. We will be highlighting Jackie Robinson Day throughout the show. Todd Tibbitz, CEO of Jackie Robinson Family YMCA's here in San Diego, will join us here in this segment.
I want everybody to know, Tony, that my OCD takes a vacation night in honor of Jackie Robinson Day. And what I mean by that is, for somebody that needs to have things in order like I do, having every single player in baseball wear number 42 drives me bananas. But yeah, I can't deal with it. I watch the highlights later in the evening. I don't know who's up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what.
Time out real quick.
Yeah.
I'm only laughing because I know you have a strong OCD thing.
Yes.
Can you explain to me how the 42s really just
throw me
draw
off
your whole day?
Because I watch the highlights in the end of the evening. I'm a big quick pitch fan, for those who don't know. I like to watch all the highlights at the end of every day, so I see pretty much everything that happens in baseball. But when you have everybody wearing number 42, I can't identify who's actually doing the highlights unless the broadcaster.
So do you just spin out in your head then as
spinning out of control? Spinning out of control. Yeah.
And
totally.
you make fun of me for things that I say I do.
Yeah, I do, but I'm making fun of myself for this. I'm not asking for people to understand. I'm just telling you the way it is. I can't deal with it very well. However, I feel like on this day, it's so important that I'm willing to not necessarily complain about it. And I don't feel I'm complaining. I'm just pointing it out. So there you go.
It's such a, I think it's just a cool day because it has evolved over time. I remember when it first started, it was just the African-American players that were wearing, or actually it was whoever wanted to wear it.
I think it was whoever wanted it. Yeah.
Whoever wanted to wear it. And it tended, a lot of times, you had different guys who weren't black players that were wearing it across the league.
Mm-hmm.
But now everybody wears it. And
yeah.
I just think it's like the ultimate honor to have basically 18 Jackie Robinsons on the field playing.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man.
It's the ultimate honor, and it should be bestowed on one more person. I really think. I mean, with the number of Hispanic players that we have in baseball, which far outnumbers now the African American players far outnumbered, not even close. Yeah, Roberto Clemente should be honored the same way, and number 21, I think the same idea. I don't want to overdo it, honor somebody every day, but I think Roberto deserves that same kind of respect for what he did for the Latin American player, which is really the same thing. He opened the door for all those people. So anyway, it's something I think baseball should be thinking about, and I don't know anybody to bring it to.
I think that's probably one of the
I think it's already been brought up, actually.
I think that's probably one of the coolest what do you want to say? I guess memorabilia I have is my game-worn
that is cool
Dodger Jackie Robinson jersey.
Wow,
it's a
game-worn.
Yeah, I mean, I wore it for my game.
You wore it.
Yeah, yeah. Not Jackie.
I thought that meant he wore it.
Not Jackie's game worn.
Okay.
My game worn Jackie Robinson.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's like
awesome.
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
Dude,
for sure.
And I know we steer away from the Dodgers on this show, but is there an extra? What are what's it like inside the Dodgers organization with the Jackie Robinson stuff? Because obviously he played for their organization.
It's a big deal. I mean, they're pretty traditionalist as it pertains to their organization and how they honor the people in their organization. I mean, they don't honor everybody, and you had to be a pretty significant player or executive in order to be honored there. So yeah, it's a big deal there for sure. But it's just cool on this day across the league, no matter what team you are. You're wearing 42.
And I think it's important also because we're far enough away removed from what Jackie Robinson, accomplished or began. I do think there's a younger, generation of players coming up that still need to be, informed about what happened at that time. And so this number 42 day makes them have to understand what's going on.
Right,
and I think that's a good thing.
And that's the tough part about history in general, right? Is that the further you get away from it, the more responsibility it is on the generations after to continue to teach it and bring it forth.
Yes,
and
I'd like to see some youngster tonight who's watching Quick Pitch. If they stay honestly, up that late going, why is everybody wearing number 42? Well, that's good. Now they get the explanation.
Absolutely. It's one of the things I think the Padres have done really well over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years in terms of educating their young players about the history of their organization, the players that have come in this organization. Jackson Merrill is a great example. I know he's unique from the standpoint of, I mean, it's not hard for him to know his history because he wants to, but that is a result of the Padres doing their work while he was in the minor league, kind of teaching these guys
I think you're right.
about the players that come before him. And I think that's really should be the goal of all organizations in there as it pertains to organization, because if they're doing that, that at least gives them the history of the organization that they're playing in, right?
I agree. I don't think any ball player, and I'm sure this doesn't happen, but I don't think any ball player should walk into a St. Louis Cardinals clubhouse
without doubt,
and somebody goes, "Who's Stan Musial?" and you don't know. Right. Like you should know that if you're a Cardinal, especially, and if you're a Padre, you should know your father. You should know Randy Jones. You should know the people who came before you and built this organization up. So, agree.
No doubt about it.
All right, we got our guy.
We're good to go.
Good to go.
Yes, sir.
I think.
All
yeah.
right.
All right.
Let's bring our guest on. Todd Tibbitz, CEO, President, Jackie Robinson Family YMCA. We bring him on today, obviously being Jackie Robinson Day here in Major League Baseball. Todd, how are you today? Thanks for joining us.
Very good. Good to be with you today.
Obviously, Major League Baseball celebrating Jackie Robinson Day. That's significant here in San Diego because we have our own Jackie Robinson YMCA not far from this stadium. I mean, what do you think of Major League Baseball celebrating it the way they do, and what does Jackie Robinson Day mean for somebody like yourself?
So, it is. This is always a special day each year, and I've been in San Diego now for 4 years, and I've had the opportunity to be at the stadium for Jackie Robinson Day, and to see every single major league player wearing the number 42 jersey is pretty special. And then to understand that our YMCA association here in San Diego County has a YMCA with that namesake representing all of the things that Jackie Robinson stood for, not only breaking barriers on the baseball field and in sports, but also every other dynamic that he stood for as a person: courage, perseverance, character, standing up for marginalized communities and representing such a positive force in our community. Our YMCA is just thrilled to be part of that, and to actually have the partnership with the Padres.
I appreciate you coming on for sure. Todd Tibbitz, CEO President, Jackie Robinson, Family YMCA. We were just talking, Todd, about how important it is for our generation to make sure that we keep passing along all messages, but especially the Jackie Robinson message and history to the younger generations. Are we getting to the point where, you're running into people who, really don't even know who Jackie Robinson is until we present what he stood for, what he meant to us as a society? I mean, and how important is it to keep the message going?
I think it's a great point. As time marches on, that becomes, I remember I was recently, I'm from Michigan. I'm a Michigan State University fan. And of course, Magic Johnson came from there. And I was talking to a younger person about Magic, and they had never heard of Magic Johnson.
Wow.
And, so you start getting into these generational gaps. And, I tell you what, that will not happen at the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, because whenever you go there, it is filled with memorabilia, his quotes, and it just lives and breathes Jackie Robinson. However, I think that's the kind of thing we need to keep talking about, and it just doesn't become a name and a statue, but it is truly all of the values that he represented. One small correction, though, that I want to make. You're getting the second or the backup hitter right now with me. I'm the CEO for the YMCA of San Diego County. Anna Arancidia is our executive at Jackie Robinson, and she is really our face of the Jackie Robinson Y in the community. Another point, though, to your question is what is so cool about the genesis of the naming of the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA. It came from students at Lincoln High School years ago. The Y engaged with local youth about what would they like to name this YMCA. And they came up with Jackie Robinson. So we approached his family, and they allowed us graciously to use his name on our building. So it was the genesis of the naming of that YMCA came from youth. So your point is really well made. I think it's a mandate that we continue to educate and socialize everything that Jackie Robinson stood for.
The Jackie Robinson YMCA that we speak of is off of 805 and Imperial Avenue, right over there by Lincoln High School. And Todd, obviously, today being a big day in Major League Baseball, celebrating Jackie Robinson. I mean, as it pertains to having the namesake of Jackie Robinson's family connected to the YMCA, how is it? How important is it for the YMCA to continue to, as we just been talking about, educate some of the kids that come into their facilities so often?
It's really important. I had the pleasure, I believe it was last year or 2 years ago, when I was at Jackie Robinson Day. The Seidler family with us had reconnected with some of Jackie's family, and most of them live in the LA area. They came down for the game, and we had such a great opportunity to meet the family of Jackie Robinson. And what we were able to do is invite them. Some of them had never been to the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA. So we had the opportunity at a program that we operate with the Padres in partnership with them, the Padres Junior Rookie League program. And we started that at Jackie Robinson. It's now at 9 locations. Tom Seidler, who's on our board at the YMCA, as well as obviously a link with the ownership and the family. And he wanted to expand it out, to keep the hub at Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, but to offer it at otherwise. So it's actually at 7 other locations in San Diego County, and we're actually now offering it our ninth locations in Tijuana. So that's another way we're working hard to promote the sport of baseball and the values of Jackie Robinson throughout our whole association, and I'm going to say the Cali Baja region.
Todd, that location, Jackie Robinson Family Y, has been there in Southeast San Diego since 1943, which is 2 years after Jackie broke the color barrier. So you guys have had an impact on this community almost as long as he's had an impact on the world at large. Talk a little bit about some of the programs there. It's more than just a gymnasium. I think people don't really realize the YMCA, especially your location, is so much more than just a basketball court, and a weight room. There's a lot going on. There's programs for adults and for children and for everybody. And this is something that's become a staple of this community, where it's located, and around the entire community of San Diego, for that matter.
Yeah, you mentioned it. In Southeast San Diego, and as you're approaching Imperial Avenue, you will see the YMCA right off of the highway. And at this year's our Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast that's organized and hosted by the Jackie Robinson YMCA, I talked about that Y is a beacon on a hill in San Diego, in Southeast San Diego specifically. Yeah, to your point, we do have the traditional programs that you would consider in the youth programs around baseball. Just a couple of years ago, we reopened the brand new swimming pool at the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, which is just incredible. So we have all sorts of youth programs, teen programs, and if you go there, it is, I will put that facility up with any of our other facilities and many facilities around the United States. We're so proud of the facility that we now have there and the donors that help provide that. But a couple other things that I would point out that we do. We do a lot of social service programming. We have a program that we run out of the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA called the Hire Program, that's specifically focused on African American youth and giving them the life skills, the job training, the academic preparedness to make sure they're ready for what comes after high school. Number one, graduating from high school and then moving on to a definition of success that they're embracing. But another thing that I just have to mention, if you remember the tragic floods that occurred in Southeast San Diego.
Yeah.
And the YMCA, the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, became a hub for community convening and partnership with just some other, the Harvey Family Foundation and others. The San Diego Foundation was such an incredible partner during that time. Lucky Duck Foundation, others, where we stood up. And so when you think of the traditional services and programs of the Y, emergency responsiveness might not have been the first thing to come to mind, but at the Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, what we're so proud of, and as you said, we've done it for decades now, is how they respond to the needs in the community. And I think that is something I'm so proud of, is how Anna and her team and our partners all responded for a real tragic situation. And honestly, we're still responding to that.
Yeah, Anna and her team were fantastic during that time. Todd, we appreciate you coming on and kind of educating us a little bit about the YMCAs, the Jackie Robinson YMCAs, and you guys continue to do great work in this community, and we appreciate your time coming on today.
Thanks so much. Go Padres.
Thanks, Todd.
Go Padres.
Appreciate,
Todd Tibbitz, CEO,
yeah.
President, Jackie Robinson Family YMCA in San Diego County. Just coming on and kind of celebrating Jackie Robinson Day at the same time, educating us a little bit. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, just going to say a little chicken soup for the soul there, to listen to Todd and, take a step back and understand, where we were, where we've come, and, what Jackie, we're not, so you go to the game tonight, you're not just saying, oh, it's Jackie Robinson Day. Okay, well, let's go to hit. So maybe take a second, to
Let's
think-
get a hit.
yeah, right. I mean, take a moment, to recognize what this day is all about and what it means. Scrappy, do you have that photo that you had of Jackie Robinson up during the interview?
Oh, I had the
Or
one
can you
where
get
he's
back to it
yes,
there?
the one where he's
Stretching for the ball.
Oh yeah, hold on.
See if you can find it. For
let me
those
get that.
watching on YouTube, I wanted to point
just
a
search
couple of
97.3 The Fan in YouTube.
Right. We
There you
all
go.
our shows are on YouTube now. Look at that glove, Tony, that he's using back in the
Yeah.
day. I mean, the thing barely covers his hand, and the webbing of it looks like it could break open at any moment.
He's playing first base, I'm
I mean,
assuming?
there's-
Yes, he was a
there's-
first baseman for sure. Second
there's a-
base,
there's a-
first base. Yeah.
There's a lot of questions from a kid born in 1982 after this. I mean, the shoes.
The shoes
like,
look like they would just be weighing down your feet.
right. How isn't anybody rolling an ankle on that pillow of a baseball bag?
Look at the
they have?
bag. Oh, my goodness. Good point.
Like there's just so much going on here. I mean, that is real cotton right there, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
thick. That might even cotton. That might be wool at this point
Man.
in
Well, his
in
jersey?
baseball.
Well,
Yes, his jersey.
right. You talked about having a game worn Jackie Robinson jersey, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. You couldn't have one of these. You
No.
couldn't even, if you put that on, you wouldn't be able to run to center field. To be wearing you down. This
Those
thing's
bad
weighed
boys.
a ton.
Look like they could be a fire hazard at some point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Jackie.
yeah, no.
Jackie was fast even with that outfit on. So
that's the other thing. We often are talking about, who is it? My man Ottavino was like he would strike out Babe Ruth. Well, here's the deal. You wouldn't have none of the same technologies that you have right now if you were playing back in Babe Ruth's time, right? Like
right.
if Babe
Yeah.
Ruth was playing in this time, he would have been benefiting from, the physical therapy, just the clean way of living now, we think, compared to what he was doing
The
with
hot
the
dogs
cigars
are-
and stuff after.
The hot dogs are much healthier this day and age than back when Babe was.
I mean, back
chowing
when Babe
down.
was doing things, you would just take a swig of whiskey and hit a ball at your barn, and then that's
Right.
what that's your
That's
off-season.
that's what everybody did. So it's like it would have been different. Anyway, the point is, they had those players back then had, although we can argue athleticism, they had to endure a lot of different. And I'm not even just talking about Jackie in terms of the whole race standpoint. I'm talking about just general times in the 1940s. The quality of life was completely different at that time.
I would like to see, give me a fleet-footed, O'Neill Cruz or somebody like that, and put him in those cleats and put him in those cotton uniforms that he's wearing.
You mean those dress shoes that Jackie Robinson
Basically just dress shoes.
Give him the same nutrition that they were eating in the 1940s.
Yeah, and
the
then
50s.
now tell me you're going to score from first on a double. Not as easy.
I also really appreciate, before we get to the end of the hour, the ad for electricity in the background.
Yeah, that's a big ad too.
1946, electricity. Get your electricity here. Do you think they were selling electricity in the stands like beer?
Spassberg into the windup.
Strasburg, got electricity over here.
We got a Daily Gambit coming up next, I think.
Yeah.
And a lineup for you. More
Yes.
Gwynn Chris on the other side.
postseason with a great performance.
Gwynn and Chris are ready to go.
All right, we ease our way into the 3 o'clock hour. Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Jackie Robinson Day. Thanks again to Todd Tibbitz, Jackie Robinson Family YMCA, representing and making sure that, we do our fair share, remembering Jackie. Tonight, all the players on both the Padres and Cubs and throughout baseball will wear number 42 in his honor. I jumped the gun. I said he broke the color barrier in 1941. It was 1947. So there you go. I don't know everything.
Save that clip.
I actually did.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is an amazing one, actually.
But I don't mind it because I don't claim to know everything.
That's not true, though.
When's the last time I claimed that I knew everything?
You have a game every day called Chris versus the Fans.
And I miss questions all the time. It happens. It's okay. I don't mind.
All right, whenever Chris is wrong, it's okay. But when Scraby's wrong, it's the biggest deal in the world.
Well, I think when you're asking the questions, you should have them right.
Oh, Chris, I just remember this. Tony, Chris tried to blame me for the question being wrong, even though it was right. He didn't like the question because it was kind of a trick question.
I called it into question because he said that Babe Ruth played in both Wrigley Field and Comiskey
World
Park
Series games
in the World Series, which I found to be interesting since I could understand playing in Wrigley Field since the Yankees would play the Cubs,
right?
But the Yankees would never play the White Sox in the World Series. So why would he play in Comiskey Park? I just brought that up. We looked it up and found that one year when Babe was actually with the Red Sox, they played the Cubs, but the games were played at Comiskey Park. So Scraby was correct. I was just bringing light to the fact that this was kind of interesting. He takes everything so personally and hard.
Yes, he does. Yes, he
Yeah,
does.
I mean, it's just you can't say anything to this guy without him going in, down a rabbit hole and out the other side, including what I just said right now, probably.
1,000%.
Well, I mean, he's not even telling the story true at all. Everybody, here's the thing.
Here we go.
Is that when I go out and I talk to the people, they always tell me, why don't you make fun of Chris when he's wrong as much as he makes fun of you? And I said, because I'm a nice person.
Because you do. By the way,
yes,
I don't know what program they're listening to. You take any chance you get, you are on him.
That's right.
I didn't do anything about the color barrier. I thought that was pretty important. I shouldn't have said anything.
I would have said something if I caught it. I didn't hear him say it.
Here's the biggest.
I probably was doing something like, I don't know, not paying attention.
The reason that it doesn't seem like he criticizes me is because when he does, I just accept it and we move on.
Oh, that's
but when we criticize him, it becomes a public case and a nuisance and an hour-long
Look how
argument.
uncomfortable he
No,
is.
Travis
right
says, "Be nice, Chris."
Thank you, Travis. I'll do what I can. All right, 3:03 is the time. Before we get to the Daily Gambit, I know Tony's got to get down and do his thing for the game tonight. I did want to get your thoughts on the Laker matchup with the T-Wolves, Tony, quickly. And I think it's, rather than playing the Warriors, because they were very close to matching up with the Warriors in the first round. So is this advantageous for the Lake Show?
My good friend Dave Marcus asked me yesterday would I want to, or it was the day before yesterday, it was before it was set. Who did I want them to play? And I couldn't really think about who I wanted them to play, but I could think of who I didn't want them to play, and that was Golden State.
Right. Okay.
The whole Jimmy Butler thing kind of didn't make me feel good about a matchup because when you put a Steph Curry, a Draymond Green, and a Jimmy Butler together, that's just one of those things. Anything can happen at that point. And
the thing is if the Lakers beat Minnesota, I feel they will likely play the Warriors in the next round.
That's fine. I'd rather it happen in a round where you been able to kind of get yourself going. Get
yourself feet going. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's for later on this weekend. We also have to give a lineup before we do the Daily Gambit.
I got you on that front. The Padres.
Go ahead.
The Padres will roll out FTJ at the top. Luis Ariz, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Oscar Gonzalez in left. Yuli Gurriel is the designated hitter in tonight's action.
Right.
Jose Iglesias at second base. Jason Hayward will patrol center field. And Martin Maldonado behind the dish.
I got one surprise to me. That Connor Joe is not making his debut tonight, but my guess is they don't feel as comfortable putting him in center field. So they're going to, go with the lefty and Jason Hayward. That's my guess. Or they just want the Connor Joe bat off the bench. Could be the other reasoning.
That is indeed, I think, an accurate statement. I know Connor has played a couple games in El Paso, but that is not enough. That's not enough to necessarily make it comfortable when you have a guy who's already played center field at the big league level on your roster.
Most surprising statistic of the year before we get to the Gambit, Luis Arraez, 2 home runs, Manny Machado, 1. It's got to be the most surprising stat of the year.
That is pretty surprising.
All right, Scrabe, I know you're
by the way, that bat flip by Luis Arraez last night was amazing. It was a masterpiece. If you haven't seen it, go to Padres.
Man. If you haven't noticed, Luis got a little swag.
Love that guy more and more every single day.
Yeah. How the umpires getting along with him at this point? Has that improved yet?
I haven't really been paying close attention to the interaction between those, but it looks like it doesn't stop his bat, so that's a good thing.
Exactly.
Do you like money?
I think about money a lot.
Do you like money without doing anything?
Winning.
Do you want to make money while watching sports?
I think Washington is immortal luck.
Washington! Woohoo! If you answered yes, this is your segment. Just don't blame us when you lose.
Nothing is ever your fault.
It's your game. Take it.
Gwen and Chris go through the top bets of the day in the Daily Gambit on 97.3 The Fan.
Daily Gambit. I said Gambit is our gambling segment here on Gwen and Chris. Everybody gamble responsibly. We're moving right past it to our first bet of last night, which was the Padres and the Cubs. Would they score combined over or under 7.5 runs? Chris and I went over. It was 10-4, so 14 runs is the winner right there for us. K's, who had more? Dylan Cease or Tarek Skubal? We both went Cease. Dylan had 6. Skubal had 9. So we lose that one.
Yeah.
Dodgers -1.5 over the Rockies, which we both thought this was a strange line. We thought it should be more. We both went Dodgers. We did win the bet, but the Dodgers won 5-3, so the line was perfect.
The Rockies scored a run, even 3, which I think was one of the more surprising things that happened last night.
He said.
Yeah.
Giants at Phillies. We also found it strange that the Giants were favored in this game on the road, -1.5 on the run line. So we picked the Phillies. Phillies lost 10-4 to the Giants. Giants are legit.
The bookmakers, they make a lot of money for a reason. Maybe we should start listening to them more often.
Yeah, they knew. Giants are playing great.
They are.
Unfortunately.
And they're doing it quietly because of what the Padres are doing and the Dodgers struggling a tiny bit. Then we did a hockey bet, and it was the Kings at Edmonton. Kings won 5-0. Chris and I chose Edmonton. Who was favored in that one?
Kings were favored, but I didn't know that Edmonton was without Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, their 2 best players. So that was a bet we lost because we didn't have the knowledge.
All right, then Blackhawks, which game would total more goals? The Blackhawks at Montreal, the Sharks at Vancouver. Well, the Blackhawks at Montreal totaled 7, and the Sharks in Vancouver totaled 3 in overtime. So what a boring game that was.
Yeah, okay. Here we go. The NHL season is not over yet, the regular season. The NBA season is. I don't remember that ever happening before, by the way.
How much more does the NHL season have?
Yeah, got about a week, or not a week, maybe 3-4 days. By the end of the week, they're done. All right, playing games tonight. Orlando -6, home to Atlanta. Tony, the Magic and Adam Klug's Hawks.
I'm taking the Magic. Is this a 10-9, 8-9,
7-8? No, 7-8. Winner moves on. Winner moves on. Loser gets to play again. Take Orlando -6. It's great.
Magic.
Orlando finished the season hot. I think they won 8 or 9 of their last 10. I don't like the Hawks on the road here. I'll take Orlando also. Clean sweep. Golden State -7 against Memphis at Oakland. Also, winner moves on into the playoffs.
Has Ja been suspended yet for his grenade celebration?
I bet you we'll see 1 or 2 tonight.
What's Jimmy Butler's status?
I think his pants are clear.
Okay, I just
Is that what you were asking? Or no,
I'm gonna go with the Warriors.
GSW -7. I think that's too many. I think this is gonna be a close game. Warriors will probably prevail, but I'll say Memphis +7. Tony.
I'm gonna take Memphis. Listen, this is Ja has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. Some of it is, I think, over.
He can still play.
Over publicized,
Yeah.
However, he can put himself squarely back into the conversation by eliminating this particular team. Because I think everybody's thinking Golden State's going to win this.
Yes, I agree. Golden State, Memphis, 228 is the over-under point total. Seems like an automatic over because these teams score a lot, but I say playoffs, they play some defense, a little slower, under. Tony, 228.
Over.
Over, he says anyway. Scrape?
Me too. Over.
Both going over. Who scores more points? Steph Curry, -2, or Ja Morant? Tony. Curry has to score.
It's going to have to be Ja.
Ja. Okay.
Steph Curry -2, you said?
Yes.
Or Ja.
Or Ja.
It has to be Ja. You're right.
I think it'll be Ja too. Curry can share more. Ja's got to have a big one. Cubs are favored. Here's what you just talked about, Tony. The odds makers, do they know? Cubs are favored by 1.5 runs over the Padres tonight.
Well, it's Imanaga night.
I understand, but the Padres are 14-3.
Right.
And they haven't lost at home yet.
And they haven't lost at home, but they're underdog. Who do you like, Scrabe?
I mean, I'm going to go Padres.
I think we're all going to go Padres here. Tony? That would be
Give
shocking
me
if
the
you
old,
said
give
Cubs.
me the old underdog.
The underdog.
You should go tell them that, Tony, so they're fired up tonight.
Dodgers, once again, are only 1.5 over the Rockies. Seems like a money-making bet to me. I got to take the Dodgers. The Rockies scored last night. It won't happen again. Tony?
We just talked about the odds makers knowing what they're doing.
Yes,
I'm still going to take the Dodgers.
Take the Dodgers. Scrape? Come on. Show some some love here for Bud Black.
Show some stupidity. Go ahead.
Yeah, right.
You know what? Since I'm not actually betting money, Rockies it is.
Takes the Rocks. Okay. Aaron Judge, 2.5 runs plus hits plus RBIs. If it's a home run, he's got it right away. But needs 3 to win. Tony, 2.5 runs plus hits plus RBIs. Judge playing Kansas City tonight. That matters.
Ooh, let me see who's pitching for KC.
I can look it up for you quickly. Not as quickly as I was hoping.
I got you.
All right.
KC, Waka.
Michael, our old friend, Michael Waka.
Yes, he gets it done.
Gets over. Okay. Scravy,
Over.
under 2.5.
Over.
Over. All right, I'll say Waka limits him to 2. I'll say under. By the way, nobody in baseball yet has 7 home runs, which I think is weird. There are 8 different guys who have 6. Fernando's one of those, but nobody has 7 yet.
I wonder when other
Why do you think that's weird?
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's late.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a little late for somebody not to have 7.
Does that mean the ball's playing truer?
Don't know. Just feeling kind of like.
See, we don't need to take the next steps, Greg. We don't need to then figure out, why is that happening?
I mean, if you were to be like, well, there's the guy who's leading major leagues has 21 home runs, we would say, well, the ball's juiced.
No, we wouldn't. If there was just one guy with 21, it'd be
The
like,
ball's
he's having a
juiced.
great.
Wilmer Flores, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, Kyle Schwarber, Tatis, Tommy Edman, Jazz Chisholm,
Is this the Daily Gambit or are we done?
and
with that?
Tyler
These are the
Soderstrom.
people with 6.
Those are all
Oh.
8 people that have 6 home
Oh,
runs.
your guy Soderstrom is there.
Soderstrom's still there. Yeah, he hit his 6th against I don't know who. All right, we're done. Tony's on his way, but he'll be back for more stuff later.
Oof.
Gwynn and Chris, we keep rolling. 97.3 The Fan after traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Tony stepped out for a moment. He'll be back to defend his title at the bottom of the hour against Scraby in today's Fantabulous Sports Game Show. You'll be able to play along starting at 3:35 or so. It's coming up in just a little bit. Padres and Cubs tonight, Jackie Robinson Day. By the way, we didn't mention this yet, Scrabe. How about a hand or a big round of applause out there for the Padres fans? I'm not trying to necessarily gain favor with the Friar faithful, but last night was a Monday night. This is not a night where a lot of people normally go out. It's not a big attendance night. I do understand that they were giving away the Aloha shirts, but 47,000 plus, the third largest crowd in history, set on a Monday night. I give the, you fan. I mean, the team's giving you a lot to cheer about right now, but the fans are doing their part. There's no question.
Absolutely. I think this is just now what Monday nights during baseball season are.
Maybe you're right.
47,000 people, and we're coming up on summer. I can only imagine it's going to be.
Well, you can't fit too many more
I was going to
in,
say, you can't fit any more in if that's the third largest attendance in Petco Park history.
Yeah.
But 47,000.
Everybody's got an Aloha shirt now. So I think it was the fine TV advertisement done by Don Orsillo
when he was fishing.
That brought everybody out for the Aloha shirts. By the way, Don, I give you a thumbs up in all of this last night. I think it was last night's game, maybe the day before, but they put a little video up of Don playing third base at the Padre fantasy camp.
They do this every once in a while.
Right. And you got to be able to poke a little fun at yourself. And that's one of the things that makes him so likable.
Yes.
That he's willing to. I would think there's a lot of broadcasters out there that would say, you're not putting that video up for all of our fans to see that. But, Don's right with it. I liked it.
That's the way to do it.
Padres rolled 10-4 last night. Top 4 in the batting order, Scraby. 8 hits in 16 at-bats. So they hit 500. They drive in 6 of the runs. They score 9 of the runs. I mentioned that because I think right now, look, you don't have Jackson Merrill. You don't have Jake. You're still working some things in there. Iglesias drove in 2 at the bottom of the order. Hayward drove in 1. I thought he had a key hit. But the bottom 5 right now for a team that's 14-3 is not as scary as you would think.
It's not scary at all, but they just get timely
But they're
hits.
getting it done. Right. They're getting it done. Look at the bottom 5 tonight. Just for example, Oscar Gonzalez, who's unproven at this point. Yuli Gurriel is 3 for 23.
And the thing with Yuli Gurriel is as he's working his way, in my mind, off the roster, he gets that one hit that score that it's like a double or RBI double,
and they bring him back.
He wins the game, and it brings him back in.
Yeah, Jose Iglesias, who I do like, but not exactly a major threat. He might double in a run or two, but he's not a home run threat. Jason Hayward batting lefty on lefty tonight, which is tough for him, and he's hitting 205. And then Martin Maldonado, who despite his home run is known mostly as kind of an automatic out. Those are the bottom 5. And this is for a team that's 14-3. That tells you how amazing their pitching has been.
Yeah,
just incredible.
It is pretty amazing. Last night, giving up four runs at home is
they gave up 4
something
runs.
They don't do.
They gave up 4 runs. The home ERA rose to 1.27 for the year at home.
I like that number.
It's a low one. I wouldn't get too used to it, just because baseball is going to make that change. Randy Vasquez will try to keep it going tonight against Shota Imanaga, who is quite the good left-hander for the Cubs. Tomorrow night, they'll see Matthew Boyd, another good left-hander. In fact, both those pitchers beat the Padres in Chicago. So you're going to have again, the challenge is there to try to keep this 11-game home winning streak afloat, keep it going. And I'm not going to put it past them right now. I mean, the way they're playing, it's fantastic. So.
I mean, when you're watching this team, I tweeted it last night. Like, this is the most exciting team to watch in baseball right now. You have no idea what they're going to do. And Kevin Acee in his newsletter this morning put to different ways that the Padres have scored this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they've scored on a wild pitch, outside of the normal ways to score. Wild pitch, steal, error, double play, and fielder's choice.
How about last night? Two of the biggest hits of the game last night were by Jose Iglesias. The two hits rolled a combined 5 feet.
That's what hitting coach Victor Rodriguez said. He said
one dribbled right out in front for a perfect bunt type of hit. And the next one, he went even less further. And I think they got one out at second base, but an RBI came in from third on the play. So Iglesias had 2 RBIs on 2 balls that went a total of 5 feet.
I think what we're seeing here this year, and it's proving to me, is that when you put the ball in play, good things can happen. Anything can happen when you put the ball in play. And the Padres, they put the ball in play 41% of their swings. And we've seen how that benefits them. They score runs because it puts pressure on the defense, and the defense ends up making a mistake.
Defense has to make plays against the Padres. You're absolutely right. This is the Victor Rodriguez theory of hitting. Put the ball out there. Right now, Padres 109 strikeouts. That's second fewest in the National League. Who's got the most? The worst team in the league, the Rockies. Yeah, they have the most. So there you go.
I kind of feel bad for the Rockies because they're going to have a long year. I don't care if the Padres beat up on them, but
I think they're going to – the problem for the Rockies, we said it yesterday, they got to play the Padres. They got to play the Dodgers. They got to play the Giants. They got to play the Diamondbacks.
It's a lot of losses.
Those are 4 great teams. They're going to lose on most of those games and then most of their other games.
How do you feel about Fernando being in the World Baseball Classic or saying he wants to do it?
When is it? Next
year.
Next March?
Yeah.
Perfect. I think, as long as, he doesn't no, it's fine. He should have his first World Series ring by then. So
there we go.
I'm trying to think positively on that. By the way,
tell him no.
There's only 2 teams in the National League, by the way, that do not have one thing on their resume offensively yet this season. The 2 teams are the Reds and the Padres. Neither team has a single this year. It's an offensive statistic. Reds have 0. Padres have 0.
Ooh, offensive statistic.
An offensive statistic that neither team has. Both teams have 0.
They haven't been caught stealing?
No, that's not it.
Okay, what is it?
That's not the one. Neither team has a triple yet this season.
Oh.
Padres don't have a triple yet this season. How's that?
Well, get on it, guys.
Let's go. Somebody speed around the bases. Let's make it happen. We can't get a cycle if we don't get a triple.
That's true.
All right.
Which is the hardest part for you?
For a cycle?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it would be a home run because I can't hit.
Well, not for you, but for a player.
The triple is always the hardest one.
All right.
Yeah. I would say more cycles don't get completed because there's no triple than any other hit.
Oh, Jonathan on the chat got it.
He got the triple.
Yeah.
Good job, Jonathan. Yeah.
And X.
All right.
And X said, send me a shirt, I'm assuming, because they got it right.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah, here.
We'll Scrappy, get rid of that. The White Sox are the only American League team that doesn't have a triple. So the Padres are not exactly in great company there. Let's get on it. All right. More Padre talk, more Gwynn and Chris. In fact, a very entertaining. It always is. It's fun. Usually Scraby throws stuff around the room, so you don't want to miss it. It's the Fantabulous Sports Game Show next.
Ben and
Marcelo, Tony Gwynn Jr.'s at Petco Park. He and Jesse have the call. Padres, Cubs. Sam Levitt, pregame show, 2 hours from now. Scraby and I will keep you entertained until then. Tony is back with us here in a moment for the Fantabulous Sports Game Show. Padres stolen base category, Scrabe, very good. 23 steals this year, 3 caught. So Padres have been really good there. Everybody's been caught at least once. The Giants are the only team that has 1 caught stealing to this point. You know, the Giants are doing what they're doing, which is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
They're in second place behind the Padres. Now, the Padres are hitting 284. That's the second best average in baseball. The only team better than the Padres are the Cardinals, which is kind of weird.
That is weird.
But the Giants are doing what they're doing, hitting 226 as a team.
Very Giant-y.
Right? The Giants don't seem like they are doing anything that stands out, but other than winning the games, right?
They play good defense.
They do. Bob Melvin is still, he's a good manager.
Yeah.
Don't forget this. This guy won the manager of the year 3 times.
I also
already.
think he's got a small chip on his shoulder against the Padres organization.
Why wouldn't he?
I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. But
I
that
mean,
gives
he's a
they're going to
gamer.
get his best all the time.
Well, Padres and Giants obviously haven't played yet. Padres are second in ERA as well. So they're second in hitting, second in ERA, trailing only the Mets. Padres team ERA 2.70. Giants are 3.26. So they're pitching well. But where the Padres stand out is this bullpen. Ridiculous. 1.57 for the bullpen for the Padres. That's off the charts.
Like when because I've been told before you can't look at stuff before May.
Might be a little early. I will say this: Giants bullpen ERA 170. So there's your second reason. There's your reason why the Giants are hanging with the Padres. They got the same. Both have great ERAs, top 2 in baseball bullpen. All right,
The Giants have Justin Verlander, who's not pitching well.
No,
I mean Camilo Duvall is never going to figure it out.
Camilo Duvall is not the closer anymore, though.
I know, that's why.
The guy they have there has
want
been
him
pretty
to be.
good. Ryan Walker has been good. With Duvall trying to pitch 7th and 8th mostly. Again, the Giants are good in the margins, which is what we talk about: base running, throwing to the right base, making plays on defense. Getting your bullpen to shut the other team down so that you can catch up when you're behind. Giants similar game plan.
I think Buster Posey has a lot to do with that. I read a lot about Buster Posey's philosophy heading into this year, and it's basically forget all of those numbers that we're making decisions by. Let's make decisions by numbers and by using our head and
Make your plays.
feelings. And
I'm telling you make plays in baseball, and I don't mean, again, we're talking about last night. The Cubs let that fly ball drop in. That is not an error, but that is missing a play, and that was a crucial play to the way that game went.
with a Gold Glover, former Gold Glover, Ian Happ's won a couple of them.
And Dansby Swanson going out at shortstop is no,
he's being paid a lot of money to catch that ball.
He's a pretty good player normally too. So, but you have to also take advantage, and the Padres keep doing that. All right, let's check traffic. Tony's settled in. How are you feeling today about the Fantabulous Sports Game Show?
See, my heart rate 71, so pretty good.
We'll see We'll see where it is at the end after traffic.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring. Got a few problems to mention here. One of them is a stalled vehicle partially blocking the transition ramp westbound 8 at the southbound 805 connector. Also a collision on eastbound 54 right before the 805. And in the North County, northbound 15 past Center City Parkway, getting reports of a bumper in the fast lane. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey, all you beautiful people out there, it's time to play one of our favorite games of the week.
All right! We like to call it.
Ooh, I'm gonna go.
Chris's Fantabulous Sports Game Show.
It starts right now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, away we go. Welcome to the Fantabulous Sports Game Show for this week. Tony Gwynn Jr., Matt Scraby will face off. They will try to correctly answer questions in the category that I'm about to give them. You can play alongside. 1 point for every correct answer. First person to 13 will win today, or first person to miss 3 and get 3 strikes will be out. Here's the category, and let's just get right to it, guys. We all know what we're doing here. Next Thursday, Scraby and I will be hosting the NFL draft coverage here on 97.3 The Fan. So tune in for all of the first round action. That's next Thursday. Scraby, myself, and Braden Surprenant. To that end, today's category, name the number 1 overall draft picks in the NFL this century. Name the number 1 overall draft picks this century. Yes, number 1 overall pick. Obviously starting in 2000, running through last year's 2024. I'll give you a couple of notes if you want to jot these down. There are 18 quarterbacks. There are 5 defensive linemen. And there are 2 tackles, offensive tackles. 9 players won the Heisman. 4 players won a Super Bowl. And only 1 of the number 1 draft picks overall has gone on to be an MVP. In the National Football League.
Wow.
All right. So with that,
only one
one of these 25 has been an MVP.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
All right. So we'll see how you do here. We'll get right to it. Scrape, you're the loser last week. I know you like how I mentioned that. But you do get the choice to go first or throw it to Tony.
I'm going to go first.
All right. Give me one. Number 1 overall draft pick this century.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, 2 years ago, 2023. That is correct. Drafted by Carolina. He's also a Heisman winner. One of the Heisman winners is off the board. All right. 1 for Scraby. Tony, you're up.
Baker Mayfield.
Mayfield, another Heisman Trophy winner, 2018, number 1 choice of the Cleveland Browns out of Oklahoma. 2-time Pro Bowler. Baker Mayfield, surprising to me. I didn't know he had made any Pro Bowls. Scraby, your turn. Tied at 1 here in the early going.
This is
it's a tough category.
My mind's kind of blank right now.
Yeah, these are tough. I think when you hear them all, you're going to go, "Oh yeah," but it's hard to think of these.
What about Helix High's Alex Smith?
Helix High's Alex Smith, good one, Scrape, going all the way back to 2005. If you can believe it's been 20 years since Alex Smith was drafted out of Utah by the 49ers, the only time this century they've had the number 1 pick.
That's a good thing.
And Alex Smith, yeah, it is a good thing. Alex Smith was a 3-time Pro Bowler, believe it or not. So pretty good career.
In his later years.
Yeah, but pretty good career for a guy who's only remembered for being injured. He made 3 Pro Bowls.
He was only bad early because they kept switching offensive coordinator. He's like 6 offensive coordinators through the first 6 years.
That's right. And Mike Nolan completely rolled the bus over him when he had a separated shoulder playing quarterback, and he was like, "No, it's just the quarterback play is not good."
Okay.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, please.
It's a terrible time in franchise history.
Tony, your turn.
Terrible time in franchise history.
How about
USC's own Carson Palmer?
Oh, wow. Tony going again way back. 2003, Carson Palmer, number 1 choice of the Bengals. Also a Heisman Trophy winner and a 3-time Pro Bowler. We're tied at 2.
Notice we haven't had any UCLA number 1 picks to this point.
Yeah, Dave. Just to make sure Dave, Dave knows. And tell him there's not going to be one either.
There hasn't been one in the 2000s. I know that.
All right, Scraby, we got 2-2 with 21 correct answers left. Tough game, though. What do you got? NFL draft picks, number 1 overall.
I always thought it was robbery for Reggie Bush that he didn't go number 1 overall. Mario Williams did.
He did.
Yes, he did.
Mario Williams, good one, Scrape. 2006 out of NC State. The Houston Texans took him. He wasn't exactly a failure.
No,
he did get 4 Pro Bowl nods in his career.
Definitely was not a failure.
Not bad. All right, Tony, down 3-2 now, trying to tie it back up. We're looking for a Pro Bowler. Number 1 picks overall.
This young man was a failure as it pertained to living up to his number 1 pick
status.
Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, yes, Jamarcus. He's probably, of this list, probably the biggest failure of them all. Oakland drafted him in 2007 out of LSU. He's one of those that did not make a single Pro Bowl. So we're tied at 3, and Scraby, your turn as we move along here with 19 correct answers remaining. Number 1 overall picks in the NFL draft.
This guy stole money from NFL teams.
Oh, wow. Okay. Who was it?
Legally
stole money.
Stole money. Sam Bradford.
Wow, Sam Bradford. He stole a lot of it, too. Heisman Trophy winner, 2010 out of Oklahoma, chosen by the L.A. Rams. That is correct, Scraby.
They were the St. Louis Rams at the time, right?
Okay, I think you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, St. Louis. But either way, a win for you, 4-3, and Tony's up.
Matthew Stafford.
Stafford, also taken by the Rams, but no, taken by the Lions. Yes, right. Traded to the Rams. Taken by the Lions the year before Sam Bradford, actually, 2009. Two-time Pro Bowler and one of the 4 people on this list who has won a Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford. So there are 3 Super Bowl champs left, and it's 4-4, and it's Scraby's turn. He's racking his brain. This is a tough category for the guys. I thought it might be. What do you got, Scraby?
I'm gonna try to knock one of those tackles off the list.
Give it a shot.
I think his name was Eric Fisher.
Wow, Scraby, very good. Eric Fisher, 2013. Kansas City Chiefs took him out of Michigan or Central Michigan.
Yeah, Central Michigan.
Of all places.
He was a Chippewa.
Yeah, he was a Chippewa, and he's one of the Super Bowl winners as well. He's so the 2 Super Bowl winners are out of the way now. 2 are left, and Tony's up, down 5-4. Number 1 overall draft picks this century. Tony.
I match your tackle with my tackle, Jake Long.
Wow, he goes with the Dolphin on the list. That's right.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
You wouldn't have got him. He's the only Dolphin on the list. 4-time Pro Bowler out of Michigan, 2008, which was the season that Camarillo made the catch to keep them from going winless. They still ended up with the number 1 pick, of course. All right, 5-5, 10 down, 15 to go. You guys are doing well so far. Scrabe, no strikes.
Things are getting a little fuzzy.
Things are getting
a little fuzzy.
I'm trying to think of complete disasters of number 1 overall picks, but I can't think of anyone.
Maybe stop thinking of disasters.
Yeah, a lot of these guys have been good. I told you, only one's been MVP. That doesn't mean that they've all been bad.
Right. All right. Well,
most of them have made the Pro Bowl several times, as a matter of fact.
I can't remember if this guy was the same year as Baker Mayfield, but Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray was the next year after Baker Mayfield. That is correct. Oklahoma had back-to-back number 1 picks. In 2019, Murray went to Arizona. He's already been a 2-time Pro Bowler, and he's another one of the Heisman Trophy winners. Scraby leads 6-5. Tony. Could be getting a little
eating his W.
You're eating your W?
Yeah.
Give me a little Jameson Winston.
That's good.
That
is good.
Wow, Tony is so good at this stuff.
That is really good. I didn't even think about him either.
2015 out of Florida State by Tampa Bay. He's a 1-time Pro Bowler, and he's another one of the Heisman Trophy winners. 6-6. Scraby, 9 left. Tony's feeling victory, even though neither of you have a strike yet.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, very good. Yeah, Joe Burrow counts. 2020 out of LSU, another Heisman winner and a 2-time Pro Bowler already. Scraby leads 7-6. Still no correct answers. You guys are about halfway through. Tony Gwynn Jr.
How about Mr. Cam
He's
Newton?
killing me. He's killing me right now. He's
Cam Newton,
absolutely killing me.
Cam Newton is the only player chosen number 1 overall on this list who's gone on to be MVP. He got 2011 drafted by Carolina out of Auburn, Heisman Trophy winner as well, and very happy that he won the MVP rather than being on the Super Bowl list. We're tied at 7. We have 11 left, Scraby. What you got?
Not much.
Not much. Well, you got no strikes. You can take a big swing if you like.
God, I cannot remember. I know the Jaguars took a defender a couple years ago, and I can't remember his name, but I'm just going to say Josh Allen, the linebacker.
Oh, Josh Allen, the linebacker.
That's
no,
wrong.
That is going to get you the first strike of the day. Josh Allen, the linebacker, was not a number 1 overall selection.
Josh Allen. Yeah, well, never mind.
Well, you went with the linebacker.
I know I did.
Okay, I'm not saying.
I was going to say something, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't say that.
Now, it is a strike, so Tony's already. Look at Tony. How do you know all these, Tony? It's unbelievable. Go ahead.
I remember number one picks.
Really.
He has an athlete Rolodex in his head.
It does, man. Who you got, Tony?
It's not.
Take your first lead.
It just came to me.
Oh, good.
Oh, no.
Scrappy will be happy to hear this.
How about Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck, correct. Stanford 2012, 4-time Pro Bowler for the Indianapolis Colts. Tony takes his first lead, 8-7. There are 10 correct answers remaining. Scrappy, you have a strike. You need one here to kind of keep the heat on. The heat is on you, actually, right now.
The heat is.
I can't give clues, but I can tell you there's several quarterbacks left on this list.
I know. I just
so it's not like these are all no-name people that are left. There's at least 1, 2, 3. I see 4. I see 6 quarterbacks left on the list. 5 of the 6 are, pretty good players, or at least very well known.
Ooh, I just thought of another one.
So I can give you that much.
Right.
There's a couple of defensive linemen that might be tough to come up with. You guys named both tackles. Scrape.
I know.
You need an answer. You got one strike.
Ooh, I just thought of a defensive guy.
We're coming up with a number 1 overall pick.
We might as well end the game now if he has all these names in his head. Adrian Peterson?
AP. Yeah, no running backs. There was no running backs on the list, so that was not the best of guesses there. Adrian Peterson is not correct. So that is a second strike for you, Scraby. And Tony Gwynn Jr.
I thought things were going well when I got Eric Fisher.
I thought they were going pretty well, too, for a while there. You got 7 correct. Tony, Scraby's got 2 strikes, so you can turn the fork a little tighter here, or the screws a little tighter, I guess. The dragon fork a little tighter here. Who you got, Tony?
How about Jeff's brother? Jared.
Jared Goff. Yes, Scraby, you forgot. Jared Goff.
This is. You know what? This is bad. This is as bad as
Tony's just
a performance that I've ever had.
You came in pretty foggy.
Jared Goff from Cal, drafted by the Rams, 4-time Pro Bowler.
Usually when Chris says the category, I go immediately and I write the stuff down. I only had 2 written down by the time it got to me, so it was not.
9-7. I'm not in the business of giving clues, but how about last year, Scrape? Can you think back that far? Nobody's answered that one yet.
Last year?
Yeah, last year's number 1 overall pick has not yet been said, so you can keep the game going here if you can remember that.
Caleb Williams.
There you go.
Caleb
Williams, correct.
It took me a second.
Heisman Trophy winner out of USC. All right, so that makes it 9-8. Tony again with 7 correct answers remaining.
How about
who's he want?
Jadeveon Clowney?
You know what's amazing? Yeah, that's correct. 2014, Houston took him out of South Carolina.
Here's your pen back, Chris. I don't even need it anymore.
Right. He's the only player on this list who I think got drafted number 1 over on 1 tackle.
Really?
Remember that? Do you remember that play?
He made the Michigan linebacker.
The Michigan guy.
Chris has been maintaining this stance for years.
It's true. Well, he did. That's true. No, but he did make 3 Pro Bowls, so he was better than that. But man, that tackle rang loudly. All right, Scrape, you got 1 more here. You're down to your final strike. There's 1 quarterback. There's 2 quarterbacks left. And then you're looking at
guess what?
No, 3 quarterbacks left.
Guess what?
One of them you're going to really hurt yourself unless you came up with it.
Hurt myself.
You're going to be really upset. I'll tell you that if you don't get this one.
All right, I'll just tell you what. I'm going to end the game and just say Sebastian Janikowski.
That did end the game. Tony.
Sebastian Janikowski.
He was a first-round pick.
You might as well have guessed
the number 1 pick.
I know.
All right, I'm going to give you the ones you missed, or Tony will give you as many as he can.
I'll give you one more. Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett. Okay, here's the ones you did not as correct.
Who's
Tony.
the Jacksonville dude?
2 Jacksonville.
Trevor Lawrence.
Back-to-back Trevor Lawrence.
Dummy I am.
And Trayvon Walker.
Which is the one I'm going to hurt
Trayvon
myself
Walker.
over.
Not to that one yet. David Carr would have been the hardest one to get.
Ooh.
Out of Fresno State. He was the number 1 overall pick when Houston was a expansion team. Just prior to him, Michael Vick was the number 1 overall pick.
I called Michael Vick.
Did you? I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you did, I didn't mark it
I
for
don't
some
remember
reason.
Michael Vick.
Yeah. Courtney Brown, defensive end, kind of a no-name out of Penn State. He was in 2000. And then the one you guys didn't say that I know Scraby you'll know, but Eli Manning. was the number 1 overall
yeah.
pick by the Chargers, of course.
Wait,
then
Courtney Brown
traded
played for the
Browns eventually.
Was
Penn
he the
State.
one that had the flag hit his eye, like hurt his eye?
Might have no. Oh, defensive lineman. I thought it was an offensive lineman.
I
whose
thought it was
flag
an
hit the
offensive
eye.
lineman
Yeah, I
too.
thought it
I don't think it was
Right.
Courtney Brown. All right, Tony's a winner. Hope you enjoyed the Fantabulous Sports Game Show. It always
yeah,
brings
it's great.
back some memories. Sorry, Scraby.
Tony destroyed
Chance
me.
for trivia. Chris vs. the Fans is next. 833.
288-0973.
Unbelievable. See, you
Lives
forget
right there.
I know. Incredible. That by Rob Manfred makes my day every day. 4 o'clock, welcome back to it. Gwynn and Chris on San Diego's number one sports talk station. 97.3 The Fan. Scraby is recovered, I think, because you weren't as close as usual today.
No, I didn't feel like I had
Seemed like Tony could have named those number one picks until like next week. I honestly don't know where he comes up with this because, as you say, he doesn't even know how to pronounce the country Hungary.
I was just about to say, he said Hungary.
I know.
He said Hungary.
But he knows every number one overall draft pick, apparently.
You know, I actually believe him on this because I know that when he was playing professional sports, he was very into knowing about the other athletes.
He's a big sports guy.
Yeah.
And that's why we co-host the show with Tony. He'll be back in a little bit for our Big Five. Chris Ello, Matt Scraby here in the Odyssey Palace studios. We're going to do a little Chris versus the fans here. Want to remind you, if you love Mediterranean food, try Spiro's. Authentic Mediterranean. They got it in Coronado. They got it in La Jolla. They also have one at Petco Park. So drop by there tonight if you're going to the game. Dining or takeout options, visit spiroscuisine.com. Quick trivia question before we get to the trivia.
Oh, wow.
Was brought to our attention. So I'm going to ask this. Who broke the color barrier in the Pacific Coast League baseball?
I know.
Do you?
I do.
Who
but
was
I've been told
it?
the answer.
You've been told the answer. Who was it?
Johnny Richie.
It was Johnny Richie. And people say, well, who's Johnny Richie? Well, Johnny was born in San Diego. San Diegan, true and true, went to San Diego High School, lived till the ripe old age of 80, played for the San Diego State Aztecs baseball team as well. And yes, broke the color barrier in the Pacific Coast League. Johnny Richie, Ritchey. I think it's worth, taking a look on this day where we're honoring Jackie Robinson. And it was Johnny Richie's grandson.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Who wrote in and said, hey, give a mention to Johnny today. Well,
yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. We should, and we did.
Here is what stands out to me most about
Johnny Richie
and players of the era.
Yeah.
This little part of AJ Casavel's. You remember they wore jerseys for the PCL years ago?
Padres?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it came out, this article came out around then, but he said before Richie became the PCL's first African-American ball player, the sweet swinging catcher put his dream on hold to serve 27 months in a combat engineering unit in World War II. He earned 5 battle stars. Like, we just don't have that anymore, Chris.
No, we had what was it? Pat Tilley, the safety,
or Tillman.
Yeah,
yes, Pat Tillman.
Sorry about that. See,
no,
that's what
it's
I mean.
okay.
It's we should know these things better than we do. But anyway, yes, a moment to remember Johnny Richie today on this Jackie Robinson celebration. Now you can celebrate being qualified for a grand prize. Two tickets. You'll get to see either Disturbed or Ghost or Pantera. It's in Las Vegas. You get a 2-night stay at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, and you get a $150 gift card, a hundo plus 50. Get tickets for all 3 shows now at Ticketmaster.com. Play ball, I say.
If you had one shot, one opportunity to take down the human almanac himself,
howdy do.
Now is your time.
Listen to me, this guy is dangerous.
Now is your opportunity to win a prize.
Well, I hope you know what you're in for.
Chris versus the Fans starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right. The rules. You have to make it through 3 questions. Each question will get more difficult. If you get the question right, you move on. If you get it wrong and Chris gets it right, you're eliminated. But if Chris gets it wrong, then you move on to the next question or you win. If you're a first-time player, let us know before you get into it, and you will get that first question for free today. And that's about it.
That's pretty good. One last thing on our guy, Johnny Richie.
What's up?
1947, Scrabe, which was the year that Jackie broke the color barrier.
I've heard that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The same year, 1947, Johnny Richie played in the Negro Leagues for the Chicago American Giants.
Okay.
Hit, let's see. They had him as a batting champion, but now I'm looking and I'm not seeing that batting championship. So
I see him at San Diego State hitting 356 in his final year. At the
I have him
school.
at 324 with the American Giants in 1947. That was his
324 's
lone
good.
league year in the Negro Leagues. But they had him winning a batting title in one of the references. So
all right, we'll have to check this
we'll
out. For
double check
next.
it all.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
But there is this. I'm gonna tweet out this article by AJ Cassavell because it has everything in there that you need to know if you're interested in Johnny Richie.
I like it.
Me too. I like learning new things. That's why I like playing MLB The Show because, or at least last year's game, they had a bunch of Negro League games that you could play, so you could learn about different players and what's happened.
It's fun to learn about. Some of these guys are bigger than life, honestly. I mean, when you're talking about Josh Gibson, you're talking about Cool
Papa Bell,
Cool Papa. And you're talking about Oscar Charleston.
Is Cool Papa the guy who did the
that was
a
Satchel.
roundhouse?
No, that's Satchel Paige.
Because in the game he does Satchel Paige.
That's how he pitched. He had the roundhouse arm before he fired away. Yeah, Satchel Paige was incredible. Many people say Satchel Paige is the best pitcher of all time. There's no way to totally know, but we do know that at the age of about 60, he pitched in a major league game and struck out like a bunch of guys.
That would help put him up there.
Satchel, I'll look it up while you're getting into the
all right,
rules.
last thing, the San Diego Library, according to Padres Diehard, downtown is hosting a Negro League museum all this month. So if you're interested in that, check the San Diego Library website. All right, let's get to our first contestant today. We're going to go with Kyle in San Diego. Hello, Kyle.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Pretty
Good
good.
to talk to
Pretty
you,
good.
Kyle.
You ready to play?
Ready to play.
Here
He's
we
ready
go.
to play some ball.
Play ball.
Our ball. Okay, here I found it real quick before we play ball. Sorry. At the age of 58, Satchel Paige pitched in one game for the Kansas City Athletics, 3 innings, allowed 1 hit, struck out 1. He was 58, Scrape.
I know.
All right, go ahead to Kyle.
Kyle, who usually puts the green jacket on the winner of the Masters?
The previous year's winner.
Previous
Nice
year's
job.
winner. He was on it. Very good, Kyle. I bet you not everyone knows that factoid.
Maybe.
Good
I think
job by
it's
you, Kyle.
kind of annoying if you're a guy who doesn't make the cut and then you're waiting around all weekend.
Okay, let me ask you this because I don't know.
What?
If you win back-to-back Masters, who puts it on?
That is a good question.
Put it on yourself.
I don't know. I know that it's been done, obviously.
Right. Somebody's won
I
back-to-back
can't remember
Masters
what
somewhere.
happens.
I
Maybe
don't
the
either.
year before or something, or
Yeah,
the Masters president, maybe? That's a good question.
They got to find the guy from like 4 years ago because you won 4 straight
Tiger,
Masters.
hobble on over here.
Yeah. Tiger, you got to put the jacket on this guy.
Here we go. Question number 2. Who was the manager of the Red Sox when they won the World Series in 2004 after a decades-long drought?
Fair.
Terry Francona.
Terry
he got
Francona is correct.
He got it. Very good. We got ourselves a player.
All right.
Very good, Kyle.
Got to delete that Babe Ruth question so we don't get held up
we
on
can't
that
do that
one
one again. Yeah.
All right, question number 3. Oh, wow. I did some research for this, Chris.
Oh, boy. This could be complete. Are we going like dart throwing? Is
Okay,
this something on the ESPN The Ocho?
The Padres have had 3 players in history who have hit a home run at 42 years old. That's the oldest player in Padres history. I'm just going to ask you to name 2 of the 3, Kyle.
How about 1?
Wow.
My goodness.
I'm gonna. You know what?
What?
I'm gonna pass.
Oh, good job.
People like to play that strategy.
Good job. Stay there,
They
Kyle.
like to play that strategy.
The Padres have 3 players in the history of the franchise who have hit a home run at 42 years old.
42 years
Name
old.
Dose of the trace.
I got to come up with 2? I don't think I can even come up with 1. I don't.
Dose of the trace.
Okay. I'm trying to think if Tony did it. But I don't know if Tony played the 42. This is brutal. Padres 42, you said?
Yes.
How about Willie McCovey?
Okay.
He was a home run hitter. I don't know if he played long enough. I'll say Tony, but I don't think Tony made it to 42.
All right.
And I'll say Dave Winfield, and I don't think he was a Padre at 42, but that's the best. Whoa, my goodness. Let me explain it. Wow, 0 for 3.
You are the winner, Kyle. Stay right there. I knew this was a hard question, but I thought you may get these two.
Nelson Cruz?
He is one of them.
Oh, yeah, just
There's another one we've talked about recently that has Ricky Henderson. I thought maybe you were going to get that. And then the final one, Matt Stairs.
Nah, I never got that.
Yeah, but Nelson Cruz did it a couple years ago.
I just thought of Nelson Cruz a tad too late, but I wouldn't have got Ricky. All right, good for you, Kyle.
Yes.
And he got 2 right, so it's a deserving victory.
It is.
Not that there's anything but a deserving victory in Chris versus the fans. Everybody deserves it. Kyle, you get in the running for the grand prize, trip to Vegas and the concert tickets and the $150. Congrats. Good job. Play again tomorrow, and it'll be your chance to dial in and perhaps qualify with a Chris versus the fans victory, which something I think people are quite proud of. The only reason I say that, Scrape, is because when people do meet me or run into me somewhere, pretty much the first thing they always talk about.
Well, they know the record.
Yeah, I've lost 6 times. I've won 14. I'm like, you have not. Nobody's got that good of a record.
They do come up to me and they're like,
they come up with weird records, don't they?
I'm like 8 and 20. I'm like, you have not won 8 times. I don't think anyone in the history of the game has won 8 times.
I don't think so either, but we haven't ever kept an official statistic. But
no,
people do seem to slant it in their favor.
They certainly
on Chris versus the fans.
Do.
But Kyle, you got to win for sure. We know that. More Gwynn and Chris on the way. I want to touch on your beloved guy, Rory McIlroy.
What? Let him enjoy.
I'm gonna not be critical of him, but I'll let you know when we come back after traffic. Don't miss this, Scraby. I want you to pay close attention.
I don't think I have a choice.
From the
at time. Chris Ella, Matt Scraby in the studio. Tony Gwynn Jr. at Petco Park. He'll be back with us. Big Five. Coming up at the bottom of the hour. Scraby, for about the 8th time this week, forgot to get to our caller who won Chris versus the Fan. So he's quietly in the background taking the information from Kyle, who won the Chris versus the Fan contest today. Well done, Kyle. You'll get your chance tomorrow. We gave you the Padres lineup earlier tonight against the lefty Shota Imanaga. Obviously, Fernando, Arise, Machado, Bogarts moves up to cleanup. Oscar Gonzalez gets the call in left field. Yuli Gurriel DHing. Jose Iglesias, Jason Hayward in center, so lefty on lefty tonight for Jason. And then Martin Maldonado behind the plate this evening. I thought maybe Connor Joe would get the start tonight, first start, right? Lefty pitcher, but I'm sure Mike Schilt thinking, where am I going to put Connor Joe? Center field? He's only played a couple of games there in the minors. Jason Hayward is a Gold Glove outfielder who has played some center field. You're better off with Hayward. Cubs lineup is very similar to last night. Once again, no Seiya Suzuki in the 3 spot. It's Justin Turner instead. And in the number 9 spot, a change for the Cubs tonight. Out goes the rookie Matt Shaw. In comes another rookie. I like this name, Scrabe. Gage Workman, playing third base for the Cubs tonight.
Do parents just sometimes name their kids crazy things because they want to?
I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to be critical. I'm not. But some of the names that I broadcast in the women's basketball ranks are out there.
Oh, they're tough?
I haven't seen a Stacy or a Julie or an Ann come down the pike in about 10 years.
Yeah, I've never met a Gage.
No, I don't think too many.
But
of
Gage
us know.
Workman is a baseball name.
That's a work. Maybe they knew he was going to be a baseball player.
By the way, Kyle, the winner of they said they're 3-1 against you.
3-1. Okay,
yes, they
good for you. You and everybody else has a winning record against me, Kyle. It's pretty incredible that they all have winning records. You know what it's like to me, Scrabe? It's like the people who go to Las Vegas and come back. They all win. Yet, you know what's funny? They keep building casinos. So what do you really think happens? All right, I want to get
to lose.
That's right. Here we go to Rory McIlroy, your guy who won the Masters and completed the career Grand Slam.
Good for him.
One of the big storylines that came out after the tournament was over was Bryson DeChambeau basically kind of hinting toward the fact that Rory McIlroy was a bit arrogant, aloof, and rude.
Are those your words?
Yes. He didn't say any of those, but
because I don't think that he was any of those.
I didn't say he was either. I'm saying that Bryson DeChambeau made it seem like, with what he said and the way he said it, that he felt Rory McIlroy was a little out of pocket for not speaking to him at all during the final round. Today, McIlroy's sports psychologist Bob Rotella said that was the plan all along. Told Rory, not Maury.
I love Maury.
I told Maury.
You are not the father.
Yeah, right. I told Rory, we do not want to talk to anybody. We don't want to pay attention to what anyone else is doing, what they're scoring, what they're swinging at. Just play your match, etc. And so Bob is defending, the guy who pays him hundreds of thousands of dollars to be a sports psychologist. He's defending Rory and saying that was the plan all along. Here's my thinking on this, Scrabe. Where do you sign up to be Rory McIlroy's sports psychologist?
You can't go in this direction.
I could have
you
done
cannot
that.
Do this.
I could have done that in my sleep. Hey, Rory, just focus on your game. Don't think about what anybody else is. It is too.
No, it's not.
Oh,
it's not that simple because there is a reason I go to a therapist and I pay a therapist instead of just talking to my friends, because you know what? My therapist is not really involved in any of the situations that I have going on. So they're giving me an objective view.
Are you telling me that I couldn't, or you couldn't have, or Kyle, who was just on the show with us, couldn't have told Rory McIlroy that it'd be really smart this weekend to be uber focused on your own game rather than worrying about what anyone else is doing.
I think
that is the plan for every athlete in every sport in the history of the game.
I think that this is
and you're telling me this sports
great,
psychologist
actually.
is brilliant?
I think this is great, actually, because you know what? Rory McIlroy, not afraid to have a sports psychologist. Many people are going to say he's weak because he has
Get
one.
out of here. They all have sports psychologists, so that's not an issue at all. They all have these guys, but I got to believe that most of them who make hundreds of thousands of dollars actually say something kind of
you have
inventive.
no idea what they're talking about in their meetings. Maybe this took 6 months maybe Rory was like, I don't want to be the guy who doesn't talk to anyone. And then he goes and he loses the U.S. Open. He goes back to a sports
Hey,
psychologist.
Rory, you've
he
lost
says,
the Masters for 11 straight years. I'll say this. If it took this sports psychologist this long to figure out that ought to be the plan, then he should have been fired a long time ago.
I think
because the plan should always be focus on your own game. And having said that,
it's not that easy.
Having said that, I'm going to move on. Having said that you should focus on your own game, there's still room in that to say hello to somebody.
No,
there just is. Oh, please.
Chris, okay.
You can't say hello to somebody and then go back to focusing on what you're trying to do?
No, if that's the plan.
Please.
If Tiger does it.
Come on.
Tiger does it. This is what champions do. This is what guys do. When Rory does it, he's the meanest guy in the world. It's your own bias that is seeping into your view of this.
You're comparing Rory McIlroy to Tiger Woods, who is not a good guy. So don't compare Rory to a guy that's not a good guy and then tell me that McIlroy is a good guy.
I was talking about straight on the golf course.
I'm talking about being a decent human being and saying hello and then going on about your business, which is what Tiger should have done also. This whole intimidation crap, and I'm not going to speak to you, and I'm going to look in the other direction.
Chris will say something in about 3 weeks that's completely going back on what he said today.
I just want to say that Bob Rotella, who is McIlroy's sports psychologist, is stealing money.
I'm going to use this, Blake.
Let me sign up to be a sports psychologist if that's the only tip I have to give.
Chris, I'm gonna side with Blake here. Oversimplification from you. And the reason it is because it's not just that's the overall message that he's giving you. There is much more talked about but behind closed doors. My therapist could come on and I'll be like, and you ask her, what does Scraby need to do to get better? Well, he needs to block everything out, but you don't know all the conversations that led into that. And I think that you are saying that therapists aren't useful. And I think that you are wrong on that.
I've gone to many therapists, and most of them are quite useful.
So why in this case is it not?
Because if that's the advice that was given, that is hardly useful.
Apparently, Rory did say hi. Derek says Scraby is right. Rory also said hi before they teed off.
Attaboy, Rory. I knew you could do it.
Padres diehard. There's no defensive golf, so this is a good strategy to get into other players' heads. And he did. He did. Bryson DeChambeau... It won him the Masters. I love it how Chris is so flippant about this. It just makes no sense to me. Makes absolute no sense.
No, sorry, I'm sticking with it.
I'm gonna quit right now.
Quitting the show?
Yeah.
All right.
That didn't go how I wanted it to go.
I mean,
that didn't go.
Well, I
how
got an
wanted
hour
it
to go. I could probably fill the time.
You're poking the bear when you're talking about mental health.
I love Rory.
No, you do not.
You know that I'm a mental health guy as well.
Doesn't sound like it.
Come on, you know that I'm.
So Rory, because he has millions of dollars, he's a professional athlete, can't have thoughts that he needs to work through.
Absolutely, he can. I would hope that the strategy was a little more complicated than let's just not talk to anybody and focus on our game. I'm pretty sure that's what every athlete is trying to do.
Oversimplification, but Dominic says Rory is Irish. I think he said top of the morning.
Everybody take a breath. We'll come back with a big five, and then we'll start screaming at each other more on Gwynn and Chris.
The biggest guest.
Enjoy yourself. That'll be $75, please.
I don't like how you're doing this. I really don't. You're downplaying therapy, and I'm not a fan of this.
I'm joking. Oh my
It doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like it.
434 is the time.
For all you people that go to therapy out there, keep going to therapy. You're doing a good thing.
I've gone to therapy many times. You see how I've turned out.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right, 434, Gwynn and Chris back at it. Time to check traffic and hit our big five right now.
From the 855, get connecting San Diego after accidents or injury. Here's Kelly Danick.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring. Got a few problems here, guys. One of them is a traffic alert for this crash involving a motorcycle northbound 15 before Mira Mesa Boulevard. It's blocking one of the left lanes. Also, northbound 805 right before El Cajon Boulevard. Accident mostly over to the right shoulder. Looks like that could be partially in the slow lane. Southbound 5, an accident right before Imperial, clearing that over to the right shoulder. And we've got this other crash involving a motorcycle. Southbound 15 before Ocean View. Tow trucks on scene. That's all over the right shoulder. Oh, and got a stalled semi partially blocking the College Avenue off-ramp, westbound King Freeway. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Gwynn and Chris, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's that time of the show when we check on the latest in sports. Only the most important topics and questions are brought to light.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
These news stories will astound and amaze you. The one, the only.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
The Big Five starts now on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're going to get right into it, but we're not going to start with a Padres thing today or a local San Diego question. We're going to start with something pretty light and fun because Bryce Harper did something yesterday for the first time, I think, in Major League history.
Number 5.
Here is that moment on the Phillies broadcast.
Is at the plate, swing and a miss. Now, you can take a look at the bat that he's using. He's using the Victus bat, the blue bat. Well, guess what? That blue bat arrived at the ballpark today. It was given to him by Trey Turner because they have just revealed the gender of the Harper's next child.
So it was a gender reveal bat, which I think is fun. I guess Trey Turner handed him the pink one first, and Bryce was like, I knew it was going to be a girl. And he was like, well, here's your actual bat. So he goes up there, and he gives him the blue bat. So Bryce Harper announces that he's having a boy with the bat.
How did Trey Turner know which one?
Because Bryce Harper let him in on it so that he could be the guy who delivered the bat.
Okay.
Some people are, I guess also – Phillies fans are annoyed because he struck out in this at-bat. Some people are annoyed with this for some reason. I'm not personally one of them, but Tony, you're up first today. What do you think about this? Is this fun? Is this not needed? The reaction you just had told me everything.
Unbelievable question, Tony. I got to be honest. Do you want me to just like...
Unbelievable question. I'm just asking you what you think about it. That's not an unbelievable question.
Do you honestly expect either of us to say that this is stupid?
No.
Wait, what do I think about
Bryce Harper, the gender
what do I think
reveal.
about people being annoyed that he did?
I already know what you feel about the people that are annoyed. But like, if you're a player, or you think this is cool, if you're a teammate, you think this is fun.
Do we not swing pink bats on Mother's Day? I mean,
We do.
I don't see what the difference is. When we did the prostate thing, we swung blue bats. Like we have a weekend dedicated to swinging whatever type of bats and crayon bats and pencil bats that you want. So I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's actually a unique way that may not cause a fire or burn a whole place down by just simply picking up a wood bat
Or harming someone.
Yeah. It's the harm that was done was he punched out with it. Man, gosh, so tough. I think it's a unique, cool
I do
way
too.
to have a gym.
Just to be clear, I do too. Chris, what do you think about this? You're the old school guy on the show.
All right,
Back in my day, they would never have a blue bat.
All right, so for the fact that you brought this up, and then you agree that this is no big deal.
Yeah.
Just underscores the fact that this is the biggest non-story of the baseball season.
It was
so far.
It was the first story on MLB.com this morning when I woke up.
Well, I would like to chat with whoever. Whoever decided that. This is God. Yeah. I have no response to this. This is, you finally tongue twisted me with a question so stupid that I can't figure out anything to say.
I think this is the first time in history this has
If
happened.
he would have hit a home run, everybody would have gone, oh my goodness, what a great move this was.
I think Phillies fans are mad just because they want to be mad their team's not playing well and they're looking for an excuse.
Well, I'd agree
Wait,
with
is
that.
this real quick though? Is this one of your,
No,
everybody
go
is
look at the
pissed about it?
comments. Go look at the comments.
Who is commenting and what are they saying
Thousands
negative?
of people.
And they're saying what negatively about this?
Oh man, if he was more worried about his bat, he wouldn't have
That's
struck
the
out.
thing.
Like stuff like that.
The low-hanging fruit responses. I love those.
I wonder if he was thinking about his son when he struck out. Those are the type of, which is really good. I think that's actually kind of hilarious at the same time.
I honestly want, I think your next sports talk show job should be in Philadelphia. That you'd probably
I would be ripped to shreds.
No, you'd be talking about this there, and all the people driving along would be going, You preach, Gravy. You preach,
Chris. I am not on the side of those people.
You preach, Gravy.
I am not on the side of those people. I think this is unique, as Tony said. I think it's fun. I think it's fine.
Good.
Ugh. I think what the most egregious thing is? Phillies lost to the Giants, and it doesn't help the Padres at all.
Hey, you know what you could have done is just left the part out about how annoyed the Philly people were, and just asked the question: do you think this was a cool idea or not? You had to throw the T in there.
There's no drama in that question. There's no drama. I need to bring up the drama. Gwynn and Chris, we know drama.
Number 4.
You're going to hate this one, too, I have a feeling. According to CBS Sports, Travis Hunter has made it clear he wants to continue playing both sides of the ball as a professional football player, something he told CBS Sports that is not an issue for any club he's actually met with. But he said if an NFL team told him it would only allow him to play either wide receiver or cornerback, Hunter said, quote, "It's never playing football again. Because I've been doing it my whole life and love being on the football field. I feel like I could dominate on each side of the ball, so I really enjoy doing it." Chris, my question is, the low-hanging fruit question I'm not going to ask. Should he focus on one side of the ball?
Couple of things on this. First of all, if he's going to make a proclamation but like that, he better be ready to back it up. Okay, because he could conceivably get drafted by a team that says you're only playing on one side of the ball. And I'd like to see him threaten to quit football and join the Tennessee quarterback wherever he goes to play. Secondly,
Nico, I'm a leaving.
Secondly, this is really, to me, it's simple. Regardless of what he's saying, it's simple. If he wants to play both, go out and earn a spot and perform well enough to play both. And if he does that, a coach, a team, an organization would be stupid not to use him. So, and if he goes out there and he can't get the job done, I mean, look, whatever team he's going to, we all think he's going to be a cornerback first. So they're going to have a stable of receivers. I'm sure they'll give him the opportunity to participate, practice, show what he can do. And if he's better than those guys, he'll play. The NFL doesn't care. The NFL doesn't hold grudges or any preconceived notions. To me, the best guys play. And, it's just like all pro guys. The minute they drop off, they get cut. They don't have any feelings for that. So I think it's a simple thing for him. If he's good enough, he'll do it.
Tony, should he focus on one side of the ball?
No, I think Chris answered that as how I would. I think all of even his part of the conversation is really null and void, because ultimately you show up to camp and you either are top in most cases 3 on the depth chart as a wide receiver, or you're top 2 on the depth chart if you're a cornerback, a starting cornerback. And that's really dictates your time. Now, I think it would be silly, unless he can't handle the workload or some type of workload to do both. I think it would be silly to have a guy like that on the other end, that even for if it's just, 3 times a game on the offensive end, trying to get him to football because it could help you. Chris is right. The NFL, the cool thing about the NFL is the best guys are going to play no matter what. All pro, or not. If you ain't getting the job done, they find someone pretty quickly. So I think this will all work itself out, regardless of what Travis says. I don't believe him when he says he's going to quit. I highly doubt it.
Thank you for answering the question within the question, Tony.
Number 3.
All right. I was reading this morning after I found the Bryce Harper bat story on MLB.com. I was reading this morning about different StatCast numbers, because I do enjoy StatCast. I do enjoy clicking around there and seeing what's going on.
They probably break down hitters' batting averages with blue bats on there somewhere.
They could. But I was looking at some StatCast numbers for pitchers, and the article started talking about Paul Skeens and how he has a 7.
His favorite guy.
I don't mind.
Stop defending
Paul
yourself.
Skeens,
You don't like
pitcher.
him. You don't like him.
He has a 7-pitch arsenal, and maybe he has an 8-pitch arsenal, but the cutter he worked on in spring has not been used this year. So here's the pitches that Paul Skeens throws in order of most thrown. First is 4-seam, and then Chris's favorite pitch, the splinker. Okay.
Oh, my God.
A change, a sweeper, a slider, a sinker.
Where's the dragon fork or whatever?
He does
that one too.
You know what he needs?
The dragon fork ball.
Yeah.
He needs some sort of gymnastics pitch like name because of Livy Dunn. I don't know what that is, but he needs that.
All right.
Tony, my question is, since he has 7, possibly 8, Yu Darvish has like 12, how many pitches does a starter actually need?
How many do they need? Need meaning they need 3. That's what you need to have. How many can they have? As we know, they can have apparently 8, 9, 12, whatever the number may be. So, what's annoying about this is that I go to my website to see the percentages and what they're doing. He has so many pitches they can't even spell out the pitch. It's FF, FS, ST. It's just like, what in the world is that? What is ST?
I was just thinking,
the splinter.
No,
the stinker.
The splinker.
I think it's the stinker.
I mispronounced it. It's not the sprinkler, which would be much better. Splinker.
Okay. Well, whatever. Tony's right. 3 pitches is fine. 3 pitches is fine. I don't, and I don't really care. If you're good enough to locate your fastball.
Here we go. I'm sorry. Let me give you guys these.
Yeah, give it to me.
We got 4-seam.
Okay.
Apparently, for some reason, FS is split finger.
Splinker.
So I don't know. It should have just been SF, not FS.
Yeah.
But anyway, sweeper on here is ST.
What?
I don't know why.
That's
change up on here is CH. That's normal. And then they all get the regular slider, sinker, cutter. So
yeah.
And you start looking at the pitches. He throws, for instance, the fastball and the split finger 39.27%. He throws the sweeper 10%, 8%, 7%, 5%, 4%. Moving on forward. There you go.
Chris?
I started to say it's location that matters.
Location,
if you can't locate,
location.
if you can locate 8 pitches, then you can have 8 pitches. If you can't, they're going to start hitting balls out of the ballpark no matter how many pitches you have. And I think Tony's right. 3 great pitches can get you through. A fastball that you can locate in and out, on the corner, up and down. change up, off speed, and a breaking pitch. And if you can do all those things and do them great, you can be successful. But, 8 pitches that you can control well is probably a little bit better if you're willing to learn them all.
All right. I need to go check Roki Sasaki's page to see if they are classifying the dragon fork with a dragon emoji and a fork emoji.
Who has that one?
Roki Sasaki.
By the way, Tony, I've not
I'm gonna
seen.
check right now.
Check it out. I've not seen an actual pitch, a pitch calling device. What do you call it? The little
PitchCom.
PitchCom. I've never seen one. So maybe help me out. If you have 8 pitches, are there enough buttons to let somebody know you're throwing pitch number 8? I don't even know what you would do.
I think there are enough buttons.
I
okay. Actually heard one for the first time yesterday.
Oh.
I was down there and they were checking the batteries, and I could hear it, talking to her. Fastball. And it just
wow.
By the way,
weird.
the Roki's dragon split is just a split on here. Thank God.
Scravy's disappointed. He wants it to be a DS.
No, I wanted the dragon emoji and the fork emoji.
Roki actually only has 3 pitches. How about that?
Can't even stay in the strike zone with 3 pitches. Hey-o!
Not yet, anyway.
Actually, his last start was probably his best start. So he's getting better.
It seems like,
he's
yeah.
getting better with each start.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, this question was written for you because the Miami Dolphins and cornerback Jalen Ramsey have agreed to part ways in the form of a trade. This is quite the turn of events for both sides because Ramsey just agreed to a 3-year, $72.3 million contract extension with the club back in September, which made him the highest paid corner in the league. So, Chris, is this a good or bad move for the Dolphins?
Well, if you've listened to me talk about the Dolphins for the last couple of years, you've heard me say many times that I'm tired of them only falling in love with shiny objects.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe Jalen Ramsey to be a shiny object. He's certainly a phenomenal player who's had a great career. I don't know that he's in the prime of his career any longer. I think he's still a very effective cornerback. But I think he's a shiny object. And what happens is you pay way more for shiny objects. So $72 million could easily be better used by the Dolphins to fortify the positions that are not shiny, which is the offensive line, so that Tua can maybe make it through the first game of the season. And, a couple of people to rush the passer and things like that. I think this is a great move by the Dolphins. This is the kind of thinking that they need, because if they keep going, what's the old saying? Do the same thing over and over again and expect different results.
The definition of insanity.
Right. That's what they've been doing. And one shiny object, Odell Beckham was another one last year, although not comparable to Ramsey because he couldn't play anymore. But that's the kind of thing they got to stop doing. So I like this move.
I actually thought that's what you were going to say. Tony, do you think this is a good move or a bad move for the Dolphins?
I think it is a good move for the Dolphins. I agree with Chris. I don't think that Jalen is in the prime of his career. Still a good cornerback in the league. And I do think they should. I mean, listen, you've already paid your quarterback. You might as well try to invest in that investment, right? Which is getting an offensive line that's going to keep him protected and concussion less.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
he does complete 75% of his throws. Just imagine if he wasn't being sacked at the time.
And if he had some time. I mean,
yeah.
you got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. If you can just give him time, I don't know that there's going to be too many defenses that can stay with that group of wideouts for long periods of time. I think the way it works now, they know they got to get the ball out of his hand because they can't protect long enough. So, and because of that, you don't get to really utilize those guys the way they can be used.
All right.
Number 1.
Last night during the Braves-Blue Jays game, something happened during the game that had people talking, and it has nothing to do with what happened on the field. Have you guys seen this?
Not yet, I don't think.
Braves sideline reporter Wiley Ballard was interviewing some fans.
I have seen the clip, but I didn't listen to it.
And here it is. So in the middle, he had just gotten done interviewing the fans, and then the TV people, the Don and Muds back in the booth, continue the conversation. Yes.
Okay, so he's in the stands. Yes. He's the sideline guy.
Yes,
he's the Scanlon of the Braves network.
Interviewing 2 women. So here it is.
Here we go.
I'm gonna go to work up here, guys. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, Wiley. You got 4 innings to get the numbers.
Come on it.
Get us some more Braves fans.
All right, so they want me to get your number.
Oh, goodness.
I'm dead serious. They're saying to my ear right now, she didn't believe me because she thinks you guys are not. I'm making this up. Even if you guys weren't, I might use that in the future. That's actually a pretty good move.
This is unbelievable.
So the best part of this right now is that Wiley could totally be faking it. This might be the new move. You just walk around with a FanDuel.
All right, we've heard enough from this. I don't know if you guys know, but this has caused quite the controversy.
Yeah, those are the hijinks of a 5-11 team, I say. But go ahead with your
Wait,
question.
what's the controversy?
Women feel like if this was a woman sideline reporter, I'm trying to phrase my words very correctly, that she would be fired, she would be reprimanded, she would be ostracized
for asking a guy for his number on television.
And women also think that this is a sleazy move for a guy to force himself, not force himself. No, wait, hold on. He asked for her number on TV in a situation where she would have a hard time saying no.
She could give him a 1-800
There are many,
number. Nobody would
Chelsea
know.
Janes put out a tweet very, upset about this. A lot of the other female reporters out there have done that as well. So people are wondering where we come out on this. And
okay,
well, let's tell them.
Is this first today?
Tony's
this is
first.
Tony, yes.
Okay, I could see where there would be some issues in terms of the double standard part, right? There's definitely it's hard to say that there wouldn't be a different reaction if it were a woman doing the same thing.
Especially if she was interviewing an athlete or who was injured or something. And
well, let's just put it in the same situation.
Let's put
She's
it in the same
fans.
perspective.
She's interviewing a male
Were
fan.
those just regular fans?
Just regular fans. She's she's interviewing a male fan.
Okay.
Even with that being said, I could still see there being an issue with people having an issue or making a stink of the same situation if it were a woman versus how we're viewing this now. Personally, I don't think there should be any flack for either side. That seemed like that was in good fun. Like that didn't seem like
he was being creepy.
Right. It didn't seem like he was being a creepy creeperton. And I just think
I blame the guys in the booth for doing that to him.
They egged it. They definitely egged it on.
They were like, get the numbers. It's like, oh man, what are you doing?
That sounded like Toronto's guys. That didn't sound like Atlanta's.
Oh, maybe it is Toronto.
I didn't recognize none of the voices, at least for Atlanta. Maybe it is though. Maybe I missed
no,
something.
It's the
Either
Braves.
way,
This is the Braves. Yeah,
says
it's
the Braves in the article.
Okay.
So.
Either way, I think I can see why women would feel like they would be ridiculed or it would be talked about differently.
Yeah.
If it were them. Now, in terms of the sleaziness part or this guy was, I don't know, bullying them for, this isn't a situation where he somehow has more power than her. He has a mic in his hand, but she's not obligated to say anything other than no, if that's what she feels like.
Could have easily said that,
and that would have made better TV, honestly.
Easily, it would have been, and she would have been the one that I guess
she would have been the hero and the villain.
We would have been talking about that today. How she denied him. Listen, I wouldn't say that should be a practice of everybody moving forward.
Yeah, I would steer clear.
This seemed authentic, and it seemed like it was organic. It didn't seem like they had this planned or he was looking to do this. So I agree with Chelsea and everybody else who's been saying in terms of the double standard that it is, but I don't agree that my man is a sleaze because he was playing along and maybe risen a little bit on the young ladies that was up there.
I do love the baseball announcer voice. Make sure you get those numbers.
The other part was, I don't know if you guys heard it at the end. You could hear the young lady say, basically, nah, man, you trying to blame it on
Yeah.
them getting a number. You want the number. That's what it is.
And
right?
he's like, no, they're actually telling me. And she knows now that they were actually telling him. Chris, what do you think?
I don't have anything more to add. Really, Tony hit it all. I'm not trying to get out of answering it. I think if I do answer it, I'm probably going to upset a few people. Not because I think Tony's right. I mean, in this particular case, this was very organic. And I don't see anything here. Maybe there's a double standard. I don't know, though, that every time anything happens and is tweeted out or a little footage of something gets out into the public air, that everybody has to try to be the almighty person that says this is just no good and it's terrible and I don't like it. We do that too much. And I think this is one of those instances where we're doing that. Chelsea, perfect, stick up for, women everywhere. Okay, but this wasn't the time necessarily, I don't think, to do it. This was harmless, I think.
Like I said, if the argument is that there could be a double standard, I can see that. But I'm not gonna then call my man like a dirt ball because he was he seemed to be having some fun. They seem to be having.
It seems like a fun segment, and if you watch it, the women are not they're not taken aback at all. So
next up is hearing from her and how she felt. I wonder.
Let's not hear from her. Let's just move on.
Oh, okay. Well, if they're going to interview the guys who try to break Mookie Betts' arm, they're going to interview her.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
All right, that's it for the Big Five. When we get back, we'll get you set up for Game 2 between the Padres and the Cubs on 97.3 The Fan.
The Chicago Cubs got blasted by the market today, but it's moved a little too far. I'm Sammy Pete, here to help you beat the books with the BetMGM network. The Cubs open minus 120 with Imanaga on the bump.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
Tony Gwynn Jr. here. Come for the sports talk, stay for the antics. Keep up with Gwynn and Chris weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on 97.3 The Fan.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey, been in a crash? Need help? Call the Barnes firm now at 1-800-8-MILLION. They have a San Diego office near you. It could be the best call you ever make.
The Barnes firm. Call 1-800-8-MILLION.
Paid spokesperson, West Broadway, San Diego.
Attention, all taco lovers. The Craft Taco, already famous in Sorrento Valley as one of the top places to eat in San Diego 2 years in a row, is now open at its second location at the National History Museum at Balboa Park. Come visit the Craft Taco for lunch or happy hour. See you soon. San Diego Padres fans, the party starts before the game on the coaster train. Enjoy a scenic ocean view
All
with
right,
family.
it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And so I had to order them because I find the name Beaver Nuggets very gross. I find it gross. But we're going to go with this. It's kind of like a Cheeto / a corn pop.
It's like a cheese doodle.
A cheese doodle. And we're going to eat them right now. I don't think these are bad, but here we go. I like it. It tastes like a corn pop.
I was going to say it tastes like a waffle, really.
It does kind of taste like a waffle. You know what? I'm in. These are good.
Yeah, I'm not.
You want another one?
No, I don't want another one. But yeah, I mean, it tastes like a waffle, like a waffle with syrup on it.
It's pretty good. I gotta say, I'm not hating these at all. Actually, they're very good. I like this. The waffle is a perfect explanation. If you've ever had, I'm sorry, I'm talking on the microphone with food in my mouth. But if you've ever had a, what is it? A Lay's potato chip that's waffle flavor. It's kind of like that. Sad Fryer says, are they cheesy? No, they're not cheesy at all, actually. They're sweet.
No, it's like a hard waffle.
with syrup on it, with dried encrusted syrup on it.
Now I don't exactly know what the puff is. It could be just fake something.
Most likely. I mean,
it's like caramel a little bit too. All right, I gotta stop eating these because I will eat the whole bag. I love these things. I'm gonna leave them here though because I will eat this if I go home. It's just gonna be a bunch of Beaver Nuggets in my bed as I sleepwalk or something like that. All right, it's time for the Beaver Nuggets. So the story is somehow Buc-ee's got brought up. I think Frank brought it up.
Yes.
And it's a rest stop / mall / entertainment zone, super center. And someone said on the chat yesterday that they have like 100. They went to one with like 100 gas pumps, which is a lot, I guess. But while we were talking about this, Sam Levitt was in New York listening, and he goes, "Put me on, put me on, put me on." And so we put him on, and he's talking about how much he loves Buc-ee's. And so we got into the conversation, and it ended up being about the Beaver Nuggets. And
Mr. Scravy. Tony's down at Petco Park. He and Jesse will have the call tonight. Padres go for their 12th in a row at home. They go for their 5th in a row overall. They try to increase the Major League's best record of 14-3, but they are going to have their work cut out for them this evening as they take on a really good lefty, one of the best in the game, I think, and that's Shota Imanaga, who beat them earlier this year 3-1 at Wrigley Field. The only run the Padres got that day was a home run by Martin Maldonado. So we'll see what the Padres come up with tonight. Randy Vasquez will try to keep it going for the Friars, who have an incredible, not just 11-0 record at home, but a 1.27 team ERA at home. They're giving up absolutely nothing. In fact, 4 runs last night was off the charts for a Padre opponent this year at Petco.
It is. And they kind of almost didn't even really have 4 runs.
Well,
one until the end of the game.
One of them was certainly unearned. Manny kicked the ball ahead of the home run by Bush. And then,
definitely those two.
Right. They got the late run against Jason Adams. I don't know what Jason Adams doing. I mean, giving up a run. What's the matter with this guy?
Can
we trade him in for another
I'm fine
eighth inning?
With him giving up
runs
guy like he did.
Right, you can give up a run.
Did.
Look, you can give up a run when you're up by 6 runs. That's fine. But
trying to look and see how many errors Manny has on the season.
I think he has 3, at least 3 that I can recall. But say what you will, he's got at least 10 plays that have saved hits and saved runs.
Baseball Reference only says 2.
Okay, maybe so.
Yeah,
maybe they changed one earlier.
Yeah.
Happy Hour is brought to you guys all by GL Pools. They are the swimming pool experts. They're trusted by thousands of San Diegans since 2006. Baseball's back, and so is swim season. Call now, GL Pools. Mention the word radio. You'll get a free month of pool service. Thanks to all you folks at GL Pools for being part of the Happy Hour. Here's an interesting statistic, Scrape, that I just looked up. Padres have hit 18 home runs this year coming into the ball game tonight. Now, you would think that a team that has the best record in the league at 14-3 is 11-0 at home, is dominated, whatever everything, all the superlatives you can say. You would think a team with 18 home runs would have more than just 3 of those home runs with a man on base.
Wouldn't you say?
Do you know that? Just let me finish it.
Okay.
15 of the 18 home runs the Padres have hit this year have been solo. 15 of the 18. And the other 3 had just one man on.
They haven't hit a 3-run home run, right?
No. They haven't hit a 3-run homer, certainly not a grand slam.
Would you say that's just baseball being baseball?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit, but that I think it's part of what also underscores, in my mind anyway, how impressive the Padres record is. Usually when you go 14-3, everybody's healthy, everybody's on the top cylinder, you know what I mean? Everything's working. You're hitting 3-run homers, you got your ace 5 starting pitchers all healthy, the middle of the lineup is together. Look, the Padres have Jackson Merrill out, they have Jay Cronenworth out, they've missed Fernando for a game. They're still trying to figure out center field now that their backup center fielder is hurt. Yu Darvish is one of their better starting pitchers normally. He hasn't been there all year. And they've only hit 3 home runs all season with a man on base. Yet, win-win-win.
So when it starts evening out, it's going to be good for the Padres.
Well, what I'm trying
can only go up.
What I'm trying to say is, yes, eventually they're going to hit some 3-run homers. They're going to hit some more home runs with guys on base. Again, eventually Jackson and Merrill's going to be back, hopefully this weekend, but they're going to get healthier.
Water finds its level, Chris.
All right, I'm never going there again. I mean, the 2023 season ruined that for me.
The 2023 season broke physics.
It did, broke physics. Speaking of Jackson Merrill, Mike Schilt chatting tonight before the ball game down in the Padre clubhouse or dugout.
Dugout, yes.
Yeah, normally holds court there in the dugout.
He has a host of things to say.
He does. One of them has to do with Jackson Merrill. Let's find out what he said about Merrill's progress and hopeful availability once the stint on the IL is over.
That's going to come at the end.
Okay.
Center tonight. Like how valuable is it to have a guy like him who can play pretty much anywhere in the outfield and has done it as much as he has?
Yeah, very valuable. It's not the way he wouldn't challenge a lot, but we trust him out there, and we'll trust him some more. But we look up, and of course they got a lefty today on the mound, and Gonzalez has been swinging the bat well, and want to create an opportunity for him. And you look up and you go, guys, there's Jason Hayward sitting there who does have multiple Gold Gloves and has played a lot of center field. So last night after the game, when I told him, I said, I've seen it a lot of years on the other side. I'm ready to see it on this side. And a big smile to his face. So, a veteran guy that knows how to play the position for sure.
What's the latest on Merrill and what he's doing and progressing toward?
He's getting to a point now where he can do some dribbling, which is not with the basketball, which is from where I'm come from in North Carolina, what that would mean. But on the rehab side, he's doing some things that allows him to move around a little bit more. He's doing some stuff in the pool, a lot of good recovery, techniques that he's, as we would expect, doing very well and intently. And he's starting to do like a little bunting. He's doing some baseball activity in that regard to keep his, timing down with his eyes and work on some of his craft. And he's been able to progress to a little bit more strengthening.
Are you close to jogging, or is that still?
I think he's getting closer. I want to put a time frame on it, but he's getting closer.
What is the latest on Darvish?
Darvish played catch off the mound yesterday. So he's getting to a point where he's going to throw some bullpens. Not quite there yet, but he's having more of aggressive catch play, and then he's getting on the mound and having some catch off the mound. So those are all trending in good spots. He's recovering well, so encouraging.
All right, there's Mike Schilt with your daily update. He feels like you were down in the locker room with all the reporters there. You get all the information you need on your way to the ball game. First, Jason Hayward is in center field tonight, lefty against lefty, but he's played there. He's won Gold Gloves in his career. Makes more sense than putting Connor Joe in center field for like the third time in his life. So that's what they went with tonight. Hayward will be in. Secondly, Merrill.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing some dribbling, which I don't really understand what that is.
Me neither.
He said it wasn't basketball, so I'm not sure exactly. Somebody help us.
Let me see. I'm going to type in dribbling and hamstring.
Yeah, I don't know what that meant, but I don't know about you, Scrape. He's due to come back and play Friday night in Houston. That's when his stint on the IL would be over. Did it sound to you like he'll play Friday night in Houston based on what Mike Schilt said there?
My inner cynic says no.
Yeah, I say the same. But I don't know what's going to happen. I just say it's based on what he said. He didn't make it sound like he's really progressed very far.
I think it's gamesmanship.
Could be.
Because Houston has the game plan for him either way.
Could be, but he didn't seem to indicate that Jackson Merrill has progressed a whole lot. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. Yu Darvish getting better. It's going to be a little while. No hurry at the moment for Darvish. I mean, they're doing fine. Better than fine without him. All right. Got anything more?
No.
I got a quick scoreboard update. NBA play-in game is underway. Orlando, early second, leads Atlanta 38-25. Later, Warriors, Grizzlies. Next, after traffic, the Scraby segment. And if he'll allow me,
no,
You don't have to. It's your segment. But if he'll allow me, I have an unbelievable story that I need to share with everybody.
We'll be the judge of that.
All right. We'll find out next.
From the
Stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low. typical tandem student right there. I tried. I wrecked your good job, buddy. Fun, huh? You need help with anything? Okay, I'm nervous. Stand up, stay low. Hands on the heart. Stay low.
Game show shortly. Padres Cubs tonight. Can the Padres make it 15-3? Can they make it 12-0 at home? Find out a little bit later. But before we get to all of that, easily the highlight of my day, especially on a day when I started off with a visit to the dentist. So things have only gone, uphill since then.
Good news?
It's always good news. For some reason, I'm a lucky dentist guy.
Me too.
Nothing's ever really wrong with my teeth.
Me too.
Yeah, everything else is wrong, but my teeth seem to come out all right. So dentist, and now something a little less painful, the Scraby segment.
Yeah. Wait. Sorry, I got distracted for a second.
What? I'm giving you the floor.
Oh, but you said you wanted to do something first.
Well, it's your segment. You decide how things go.
You go first.
All right. I heard the story from my wife yesterday, and I couldn't believe that this actually existed out there and happened. A friend of hers in Denver, long divorced, grown up, has kids.
Okay.
But was dating a guy.
Okay.
Apparently the guy was like a millionaire type of guy.
Okay.
And was nice enough to take her places and stay only at 5-star hotels and all of this great stuff.
Okay.
However, when the couple flew to their desired destinations of travel and whatever, he flew first class, but bought her regular class.
That is crazy.
Crazy, right? I was like, that can't be. They both walked on the plane and he turned left and she had to turn right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Really?
If you're going to bring someone with you and you're going to pay for everything, you pay for their first class ticket.
I couldn't believe it. I asked her 3 times. Oh, this isn't really, no way.
Oh,
this couldn't be. And then, my next thing was, I have to, in fact, I'm going to have to talk to this friend of Lori's next time I see her, but I would have had to dump this guy immediately. Now, she has since dumped him for things like this. But I don't, some of you rich people, I'm not trying to put a blanket, but rich people can be crazy with their money. Like, you have more money than you'll ever need, yet you're penny pinching, which in this case is a penny pinch for a multimillionaire. Right?
Yeah. I'm pretty shocked by this.
Are you?
Yeah, I can't
I thought
believe
you
that.
would be.
I can't see myself ever being like, hey,
Can't
I'm going to take
imagine.
you on vacation and you're going to sit coach. And
If
I'm gonna sit first class.
if I can't afford 2 first-class tickets, then we're both going coach.
What's
That's
next?
it.
Are you going to check me into my own hotel as I go to the Ritz?
I was surprised that she was allowed to stay in the same hotel.
Do they allow people like her in the hotel?
I'm pretty sure he dropped her off at Applebee's. Then he went to the 5-star restaurant. I don't
sure
know.
he did. I'm sure he did.
Sorry, don't mean to demean Applebee's. I kind of like Applebee's.
No, I love
actually.
Applebee's. I love Applebee's.
But
that's where normal people go.
I had to bring this up because I thought you'd be like,
No, that is
no way.
That's pretty bad.
Just
I
like
have
me.
to say
So.
that is pretty bad because you're just telling that person that you don't really care about them.
I don't know. I'm imagining there's some people out there that are in relationships that are hearing that story and going, well, gee, I thought my relationship was kind of rocky, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. I'm not being shipped to coach.
I'm not being shipped to coach class while my significant other enjoys first class.
Hey, I actually got you a seat. It's in the dog area.
Like Larry David wouldn't even come up with that on Curb Your
That is pretty good.
Enthusiasm.
I gotta say that is a interesting situation. So she broke up with him though.
She did.
All right.
And it was stuff related to that,
You
finally
need to get more dirt.
I'll get a little bit more, but I mean, it's not going to get crazier than that.
Well, maybe not.
Who
I'm
does
hoping.
this?
I'm hoping.
Who does this?
I don't know. Maybe you know who does that? Backward Parker people. They do that.
Yeah,
because
they don't care about other people.
Um,
That's our take on Backward Parker people.
yes,
by the
because
way.
you sent me something the other day on Twitter.
I did.
And it was a sign that you found outside of Snapdragon Stadium, right?
Not the stadium, but there's a park behind.
Oh, okay. I
Snapdragon
know what you're talking
Stadium.
about.
Yeah.
And you sent the sign and it said backwards parking only.
They only allow you to back in. I'm getting worried, Scraby, that they're taking over.
In that instance, when everybody is backing in, I think that's better. But when we're all willy-nilly backing in, I don't really want to go down the backing in road again because then I get a bunch of messages about how it's safer.
We
to
get a lot
back
of
in.
hate mail. We do.
It's not. No, wait. I can't say it's not safer because I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get an email with an article to some insurance website that says it's safer. I've had these links sent to me before. It's like a car insurance website.
Well, let me just say, I think backing in is way less safe. First, it's difficult to back in. You're probably way more likely to hit something on your way in. Secondly, when you pull out forward, you can't see any oncoming traffic until you're way out there.
Yeah.
And I understand when you back out, it's similar, but I think people are more on the lookout for a car backing out. Less likely to hit you.
And by the way, either way, like the whole thing where, well, it's safer because you don't hit someone when you back out. Either way, you have to look. Like you're not just backing out of a spot without looking, and you're not just going through a spot without looking.
Don't think it can be possible. It's got to be more dangerous because you're way more likely to hit something on the way into the spot if you back in. Can't be close.
I can't do it anymore because I'm already feeling the messages coming my way. This is one of the topics that
are
actually makes
yeah.
people angry for some reason.
Yes.
And then I get angry.
Why don't you get angry about the idiot who put his girlfriend in coach class? I think that's something to get angry about.
Let's do that.
Stop getting mad at you and I. Start getting mad at the people you deserve to get mad at.
I have great transitions today. You know who's angry? Possibly angry?
No.
Juan Soto.
Oh, what is Wonderful homered last night, though.
Wonderful.
His second of the year.
This is what the New York Post said. With 10% of the season complete, he has a 409 on-base percentage, which is in normal range, but he only has 1 homer and 4 RBIs.
Yeah.
Through
Had
10%
his second
of the
one last
season.
night.
All right.
But it's not been a good start for Juan Soto, and I imagine the New York media will close in quickly.
Well, they've already asked him about it, and he said, quote, "It's definitely different playing for the Mets without Judge in the lineup.
Okay.
I had the best hitter in baseball hitting behind me. I was getting more attacked and more pitches in the strike zone, less intentional walks and things like that. I was pitched differently last year." Now, he didn't say anything like I can't do it or I'm not going to play as well, but that's part of leaving the Yankees.
Did he also maybe mention in defense of his teammate who probably now hates him more?
No.
That he does hit ahead of Pete Alonso right now, who's not exactly chop liver?
No, Pete Alonso's hitting really well right now.
That's what I mean.
He's like
So,
career numbers.
If you're Juan Soto, what he basically just said is, well, I don't have Aaron Judge to protect me anymore, so it's harder. Well,
Yeah,
how about
what is he
adding
talking about?
Yes, how about adding the fact that you do have Pete Alonso, who's having a really good start to the season.
He's hitting 345. Pete Alonso's hitting 345 with 4 home runs, 19 RBIs, and he has an OPS of 1.136.
Yeah.
Those are Aaron Judge numbers.
I'm just saying, this is what Juan Soto doesn't get. That by saying something to try to defend himself, he very
Took a shot at
likely
someone
could have
else.
taken a shot at his own teammate indirectly there
I didn't
by
even think
not
about
saying that. I got Pete Alonso hitting behind me now.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's kind of a problem.
I think it's
kind of a problem.
And believe me, somebody in New York, if I thought of it, somebody in New York will think of it.
Hey, guess what? I'm sorry, Juan, but when you sign the biggest contract in the history of sports, you kind of have to figure it out, dude. No one's going to care whether or not you got Aaron Judge in your lineup. But you made a great point, Chris. Pete Alonso's hitting better than Aaron Judge right now.
Well, Pete Alonso has a right to be upset that he wasn't mentioned in this.
Yeah, you know what he could have done, Juan Soto? He could have been like, I have a great teammate around me now, but they are pitching me different.
That's all he had to say.
Yeah.
But
And he
didn't-
probably didn't even mean to take a shot at Pete Alonso.
Just like he doesn't mean to anger anybody by being 15 minutes late for the bus all the time.
Okay.
But guess what? He did anger people by doing that.
Clayton Kershaw is set for a rehab start at AAA Oklahoma City. He's 37, Chris. He's presently on the 60-day injured list, but is he only – here's my question. Is he only doing this to get to the strikeout number that he wants to get to?
What is it?
He's almost to 3,000 strikeouts.
No. I think Clayton Kershaw still loves to compete. He's one of the great competitors is what Kershaw is, along with great talent. Don't forget what he's accomplished. MVP, Cy Youngs, Triple Crown. This guy has been at the tip top of the game for his much of his career. And guys like that are ultra competitive. They think they're going to compete forever. Maddox hung on forever and ever, right? Even after he left the Padres, he went to a couple more places.
He needs
right?
He needs 32 strikeouts to get to 3,000.
I think that's something for the media to look at. I think Kershaw just feels like he can compete, and he's going to never stop until they drag him out of there. And that's okay with me, as long as the Dodgers are willing to keep giving him, the opportunities.
Yeah, he's been pitching since 2008. I can only remember Clayton Kershaw just...
How old did you say he is? 30?
He's 37, I believe.
There's been a lot of 40-year-old pitchers that have won a lot of games. I don't have it in front of me at the moment, and it's late in the show. So
But isn't that like a Jamie
Moyer?
Moyer type where you're kind of throwing soft stuff and you're trying to get guys out in different ways? Like
No.
Clayton Kershaw's still more of a curveball guy, right?
No. I don't know. I just want to say that Nolan Ryan pitched well into his 40s, and he wasn't throwing soft.
Yeah, but I think he's a
rare breed.
He's a rare breed.
Yeah,
for
Ryan pitched until he was 46.
That's crazy,
and was still throwing some heat.
And his arm is still attached to his body, huh?
Nolan Ryan, he's a freak, marvel of nature. Is really what he was.
All right, here's another story. Team USA has a new manager for the World Baseball Classic. They also have a new captain.
They have the same manager, just new old.
Oh,
manager.
yeah, I guess you're right. New old manager. Team USA manager Mark DeRosa is back, which we loved Mark DeRosa as the manager of Team USA.
He won last year. So
no, he didn't.
Oh, that's right. They lost.
They lost to Japan. Ohtani struck out Mike Trout.
Can't believe they're bringing DeRosa back. This is a very questionable decision.
Aaron Judge is the new captain for the Team USA
Who was
baseball
before?
team. Mike Trout was, I believe, the last time. And
Trout is tied with Judge right now for the AL home run lead.
I
Mentioned
talked a
that
little bit
earlier.
of trash about Mike Trout. He's on my fantasy team, and ever since I talked trash, he's been all about it.
I'm so glad you mentioned your fantasy team because I haven't heard from them in
Well, they haven't been very good this
3
year so
days.
far. I got a lot of guys on the IL. All right, last one. Fernando Tatis Jr., speaking of the World Baseball Classic, he anticipates making his World Baseball Classic debut for the Dominican Republic next year. They said that they haven't made it official, but there's really good talks out there. It's a matter of me staying healthy the rest of the season, putting everything that's more important in front, and then we'll see how that goes. That tells me that Fernando has matured. When he says it's a matter of me staying healthy the rest of the season, putting everything that's more important in front, and then we'll see how it goes. That's a good sign for me.
I have a question about that.
What?
And maybe you know or don't know.
Probably don't.
Does Fernando get paid to play in that tournament?
I don't think
Does anybody get paid?
I don't know.
Do they all do it out of the goodness of their heart? I mean, they certainly can afford to, but kind of surprises me in a lot of ways that, somebody like Manny Machado, Fernando, Juan Soto doesn't want a couple of bucks for showing up.
Do
I don't know how that works.
Do Team USA basketball players get paid? I don't know that you get paid for being a member of a Team USA.
I mean, Michael Jordan, Magic, well, they couldn't get paid to play in the Olympics because when they played, it was still amateur. But now the Olympics has totally changed, so they could pay those guys. I don't know what they do. That's a good question that somebody out there can answer. Maybe you know. I don't know it. I'm assuming they don't get paid because we never hear them talking contract. You know what I mean? You never hear them saying, well, Ohtani didn't want to play for Team Japan because he's holding out for more money.
Here's a quick search from CBS Sports that players are paid. Each participating team in the 2023 tournament received a $300,000 payment just for participating. The championship team earning a potential $1 million.
What, they split that up among
the
players?
It's not much, but I guess they do get some.
They get a little something.
Yeah.
Something.
Something.
I'm in the minority here. I've never been a big fan of the World Baseball Classic. It's never drawn me in.
It just is in the wrong time of year, but you can't do it anywhere else in the year.
It's never drawn me in. I won't say I've never watched it. I have, but it's not a big thing to me. Players love it, and it's a big deal to them. So for that, I'm happy.
For that, I am happy.
All right, tonight we have a ball game. Tomorrow afternoon we have a ball game. And then Scraby and I are back after the Cub-Padre game tomorrow. Post game, as it were. Probably around 4 o'clock, something like that tomorrow, maybe a little 4:30.
Yep.
We'll see you then. Hopefully the Padres have 2 more wins chalked up.
I think they will.
It won't be easy. Starting tonight with Imanaga and Vasquez. Sammy Levitt gets you ready. Pregame show next for Scraby, Tony, Chris. Adios.
Bye.